But I'll post it in patron chat because Law already gave me permission just to put him fucking on blast. And I was talking to him about this yesterday. But this is how his talents are organized right now.
All right, I'll look. I haven't looked at anything. Okay. That's not awful, but I'm assuming you're going for that it's not alphabetized.
It's not alphabetized, and he only has, he basically has, some of them have descriptions, some of them don't.
Yes.
And I'm just all this ain't uniform. This ain't uniform.
Also, he's misspelled Armor Master because it is 100% spelled the American way in the talent section.
So, well, as I said, this was actually...
I mean, this doesn't really... Normally, Omega is the kind of person who gets bothered by these kind of things. We'll give context in a second, I'm sure, audience. We are rolling. But I definitely, looking at it, as I look at it longer, I'm like, no, this is a little... Not to be rude to Loth, but it seems a little half-assed. Because it's like, okay, so you have ranks... And you have the stuff, but they're not organized in any way other than when you added them, I guess. And the first 3 have the actual description, and then we got bored and we stopped. Because it might actually come up. Does he's got brace 1? Does he or anybody else know off the top of their head what brace is good for? Brace is actually really good because it's you have to take a maneuver to do brace, I believe, but
yeah, to prepare 1.
But you can remove 1 black of any type. That is, so long as it's environmental or external.
Yeah.
Which is really, really good because it takes a maneuver, but it's very generic. We're talking about the Star Wars RPG.
Yeah, so...
Here's the thing, Axe. Lots of things are environmental effects.
Actually, because I was talking to Lothy yesterday when we were playing 7 Days to Die.
Mm-hmm.
And he says... and he said, oh yeah, I haven't done a shopping list because I've been trying to get onto people to make sure they have shopping lists and everything prepared before we go into recording, because while Lucky does love shopping, he does also recognize that
we spend a lot of time shopping. I'm okay with this in principle, but I assume where you're going to go with is the same issue of it is true, we do spend a fuck ton of time shopping.
Yeah, so any things that we can get set up beforehand, just expedites the process, and we still get our shopping done. So ta-da!
Well, and also the thing is that obviously we're moving to a new story arc in the next one. Well, actually, not obviously, because I'm still way behind in posting those APs. Sorry, I need time to do this stuff. We'll talk about Omega's new problem of time management in a second, I'm sure, because I have new issues. Thanks, nature. But
nature.
We are moving on to a new story arc, which while there will be some downtime and stuff and some shopping, because we talked about that, you wanted to actually do a little bit of action drop and then recycle. That will still involve a new scenario where assuredly you guys will probably go and want some extra shit besides just the missing shit. Though I did this time specifically make sure to write down in my notes, hey, here's what you get for free as part of the mission package so you don't have to worry about it.
That's cool.
Because you guys picked the factory sub, which I think we've revealed a little lead up that would be one of the possible next ones. The audience hasn't actually gotten to the... Sorry, I don't know why, but I've suddenly developed a slight chesty cough. Only, literally just now in the, 30 minutes between when I ate lunch and when we're actually recording.
Of course.
It's really scritchy. But the audience does know that we could go to the Pirate Treasure arc. That is done. So now you're going to do the factory sub, which will naturally be underwater. It will actually be underwater, not Axe assuming it's underwater because it's Pirate Treasure. Which is why that was double hilarious to me.
That's great.
But so there will be environmental factors which are a lot steeper in this one, which obviously I should provide for, reasons. But yeah, we'll see about that tomorrow.
Anyway, give the patron intro real quick.
Okay, should we pull up that list then?
Yeah,
because it's easier to do it by a list I've made now that there's so many people. Before I do that, and remind everybody that this episode is brought to you by our patrons like Iga Comics, Blacklist OG, Carlos Qua, Jeremy Vasquez, Kylie Denton, Nestor Flores, Rogue Robin, Shawnee P, some guy named Bob, Sodasan, 0424, Cybern23, and Video Gamer 75. And if you like what we do and want to see some more, you should consider supporting us on Patreon. You can access episodes early and lots of other goodies, and it really helps us out. Thank you for your support, everybody.
Thank you.
No, we are not doing double public. We could, and 2,500 is a nice milestone, but it doesn't, other than being a cool number we were working on for a little bit, it's not anything super special otherwise. So, no, I figure we'll stop it at 1 3-hour public show this week.
Yeah, X, by Lucky's standards, your character sheet's a little bit of a mess, too. It's not...
Well, okay. I do not want you to go throwing shade anyway because they use my old Google table version and aren't a madman who wants to do fucking spreadsheets, tabs, and tabs. But there are a lot of comments and stuff, and not internal information.
Like mine. Like no, like I don't know what you're talking about because I'm still using yours as well.
Are you in this one? Okay, all right.
So
that's
again,
fair.
you're throwing shade for no reason.
Not for no reason. You have definitely in the past gone crazy with pages and tabs of stuff. And you've talked about how big your character sheet is.
Yeah. And that's one of the reasons why I had to get good at, compacting things down. Like, I'll post it in the Patreon. There's our Maz.
Omega will admit he literally hasn't looked at your character sheet since day one. He completely trusts you to tell him the things.
Yeah.
Otherwise, there's no point. Why am I need to babysit your character sheets? I ask you if you have a skill. You don't have a skill. If your axe or luff, you complain and cry and die. And if you're my 2 experienced players, you're just like, fuck it, I'll roll 3 green dice. Woo!
Well, I'm saying axe is a little bit mess because he put in
Well, so he has all his information,
like all of it.
But the format you've done that in is you've put in a shitload of comments on the side rather than just actually write the stuff and put in like crazy long descriptions and stuff, and I'm like, I don't know why. Why have you done this?
But so
and like you've got also you do have a slight thing where I've noticed you've got some things in here that you really don't need to. But one, you've got like says fusion cutter not yet because I'm sure you've gotten rid of it or something, and then you've got different modifications that you don't actually have yet in your inventory section, and you've doubled down on your stuff. Like, you've got stun grenades listed in your inventory, and also your thermal cloak listed in your demo charges, thermal cloak's in between the two, listed in your inventory. And you've got, like, your armor mods listed in your inventory. Why is all that stuff in your... And you've turned your gear list into a shopping list. What are you doing? You're fucking it up.
See?
Now I'm bothered.
Just
make a new table. Tables are God. Make more.
So, anyway, I was playing 7 Days to Die with Loth, and he says, I need... do a shopping list, and he's like, I don't know what to get. And I'm like, well, I know this system pretty dang good. Let me take a look at your stuff, and we'll see, and we'll hammer out some shit. And we're like, okay, cool. Like, can we just like do that? We don't have to play 7 Days Out. I was like, sure. Lucky loves logistics.
It's true, he does.
So there was a little bit of shenanigans, and it took me a while, but I got access to his character sheet, and I was all like, Loth, why? What is this? What is this? Excuse me, sir. Like. So I posted earlier his talents. Before I got my hands on him, he actually had some of his gear in there in his talent list.
Whoops.
I'm just like, he had like listings for all the weapons. He had like all the stats for all the weapons he used. Like all of them, like even the ones he wasn't planning on using. I'm just all like, I can understand why you want to have the stats, but if you're not going to use them, there's no point in like dedicating all the space to them. So,
right.
Obviously,
the reason why you keep the stats and you put them in the table, which is organized to keep the stats, is so that you can quickly reference them when you use them. If you're not going to use anything, you don't need the whole stat line.
No. And we also had to...
We're only about 10 minutes in, so yeah, you're not that late.
Yeah. So I had to basically like look at his encumbrance. I'm like, Loth, you're actually carrying way more than your encumbering limits is, and we haven't been noticing on this. Bad, Loth. Bad. Because he would like to carry his knife, the truncheon, his shotgun, the grenade launcher as well. His armor still gives him 1, and then he was carrying 11 stim packs, had a blood scanner, and it just added up because the grenade launcher and the number 8 are both 5, and it was just oof. And then I was looking at his encumbrance. I'm like, Loth, I think I've told you guys multiple times to pick up a utility belt and load bearing harness. Why do I not see it on this list? He's like, I forgot. I'm like,
yeah, I think he only went with the modular backpack, maybe.
Yeah.
Or maybe not, because it was like, but I have a crash backpack. Like, okay, but you don't need to carry the crash backpack everywhere. It's the purpose of the survival kit backpack is that if you're a spacer, you keep it under your fucking seat so that when your spaceship crashes, you have a load of necessary supplies.
Yeah, and in the beginning it was good because it's a lot of stuff for very little. But now I'm like, all right, no, we're just going to get rid of that. You don't need this anymore. We're going to get you a canteen. We're going to get you some food. You're going to get a cloak. You'll be fucking good.
Yeah.
And then
and we have actually had this discussion about encumbrance about a different thing later because the other player who's not here, Marth, was like, because Axe and Loth are both listening in the chat. But Marth was like, "Hey, is this right that he was actually fucking himself over a little. He was counting all the shit in his Jedi utility belt with its encumbrance."
Yeah.
And you were like, "I don't think it does that, dude." And I actually looked it up. I tried to find FAQ answers, and the answer is no, it doesn't do that. You get all that gear, plus it increases your encumbrance by 1. That's what it does from a rules as written perspective.
Yes.
And so, like, I think the way I phrased it was like, just assume that it also has all the space to carry all that stuff, either canceling or compensating its encumbrance. Yeah.
Because I was talking to Lawton, wanted to know like what he wanted to do. He said he wanted to heal people, he wanted to hack computers, and he wanted to be a bulwark of clone muscle.
Yes, he is the tank and healer.
Yes. So basically, we started going through this, and I was gonna give him Arama's riot shield because I did remember something that you can modify riot shields to be able to let you use range heavy weapons. You just have to add a black, and if I remember correctly, you can brace to remove that black.
Yes, that would probably count.
Yes,
and he does have brace 1, as we established.
He does have brace 1, so it'd be perfect. But the only problem is the shield is fucking E5 as well. And I'm just all like, you just do not have the fucking encumbrance for all this.
No, it's hard. Without extra brawn and adding all the extra encumbrancy things.
Yeah.
Excuse me, it's very hard.
It's very hard, but
does this making armor superior decreases its encumbrance? Does it do that with? I'll double check if it does that with
weapons. It increases the damage by 1 and gives you a free advantage with.
I don't think that. I think it increases the base damage instead of decreasing the. Well, okay, so superior armor gets +1 soak and then
-1 E.
Yeah, so I think technically with weapons you get the advantage instead of the -1 E, which is also still really good because like
it is.
Like if Axe had superior on his pistols, he would literally always double hit. He almost always does anyway because of shenanigans, but like that would literally be it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I was talking to Lawton, like, okay, what kind of weapons do you want? He's like, I want to use a Tonfa. And I'm like, do we actually have Tonfa in this system? And I looked, I couldn't actually find anything that was particularly Tonfa-like.
There is the Z6 riot baton, but that's probably an Imperial weapon, but isn't really because it showed up in The Force Awakens, so I'm sure FFG just lied and said it was old because it was cool. So that's way too fucking new to be in the Clone Wars game.
No, what I turned him on to was the Thunderbolt Shock Prod.
Yeah,
which is just a big old electric stick.
There is also one of the later ones. I think there's a Clone Wars specific model of Shock Prod that the clones are supposed to be using, but I don't remember which one it is. I don't know. For some reason, I guess it's because maybe shock prods are referenced a lot. There's a lot of different shock prods in FFG. It's like why there's so many shields. There's so many shock prods. There's so many freaking knives. Nice. You know, it's everybody's got to have something special, and not just in like so here's a really really good gun that's got like 5 customization hard points. You know, here's a good pistol.
Actually, or whatever. I do remember seeing the. Oh yeah, it's the T7, it's the TZ97 Zapper Shock baton. That's the clone one, which is crazy because it's literally the Thunder Prod, except that the Thunderbolt, except it has the Thunderbolt has only only crit 3, while the Zapper is crit 4, and the Thunderbolt is like literally a little bit cheaper. Like those are the only differences. So I was kind of looking at this, and I'm like, why? Is it
because it's a named model from a TV series, I'm sure is why it's different. But they should have just made them the same, but whatever. Canonicity. There are limits.
There are limits. So,
much like, I think we talked about this in the AP recording that's not out, much like you were asking, can I make a lightsaber punch? And I'm like, I don't think so. We did work out that there was concept art and toy prototypes for lightsaber claws. And speaking of Tonfas, funnily enough, the Guard Shoto is in this system, which is the Tonfa lightsaber from Force Unleashed, but that also wouldn't make any sense.
No. So anyway, I've decided that I'm going to get him a big ol' hunking stuff, and I'm going to give him my weighted head, so he can have concussive too, and you can give him the side eye, because Arma's gonna focus more on punch and looking cool while punching.
No, it's a shock prod. You poke people with it.
Okay, poke.
Actually, I'm kind of surprised there's not like a baton in here.
There's snap batons and
yeah, but those are like extending. The thing is, I'm thinking of is that like real life police batons have the tonfa style side handle, so you can use it defensively and stuff. For techniques. But I don't think anything. A truncheon is just a truncheon, aka a club, a billy club. Snap baton is a collapsing baton. So I'm not sure. Maybe there's some other ones that are fluffed as having a side handle that I don't know about.
But yeah, so we went through what we said. We went through a lot of things. I cleaned up a lot of things. I could have put Love on Blast more, but I think we're going on a bit more.
We've been about 15 minutes in this. It's fine.
Yeah, so I literally had to make him all right, we're moving all this stuff to storage. You don't need to carry on this all this time. We have a to-buy list, which has the Metapack, Nullicane, Stem Sticks, Data Breaker, Low Baron Harness, Utility Belt, Thunderbolt Shock Prod, a Clone Army Carantine, and 3 ration packs, which should get him, with everything all cleaned up, it should get him pretty solid. And from there, we were talking a lot about attachments and how to mod them. Lucky has this bad habit.
Everybody should either leave a mod slot open for Amphibious or should realize they're going to have to put their armor away to put on some kind of dive suit. Just heads up.
Heads up.
I don't want to hear any complaints about, but Omega, Amphibious takes a hard point. I need those hard points to be cooler. Okay, well, then you can drown, motherfucker.
Blub, blub. Actually, by the way, that reminds me. Does Jedi Battle Armor come with a helmet?
I believe so. It's supposed to be heavy.
Okay.
If you wanted to, there's like a helmet upgrade package. It's like 0, isn't there?
Is there? I don't know.
There's some integrated helmet type shit that is 0.
Well,
it probably comes with a helmet or hood or something. You'll have to work it out.
Well, because I said, that's the lovely thing about Jedi Battle Armor. It's a little bit less defensive than what I'm wearing now, but it comes with 5 hard points. 5 hard points. 5 hard points.
Yes, the Jedi Battle Armor it's really hard to come by unless your GM makes it fall from the sky, literally. But it's the kind of one of the ultimate Jedi armors for just let's just customize a bunch of shit. We can get all the stuff in here. Especially because armor hardpoints are brutal. I don't understand why they're so mean, but the biggest weapon ones there are a couple which are 2, and they're usually pretty baller. I think 2 is almost like an average for most good armor attachments. Some of them go as high as 3, and I'm like, but why though? I don't know. Probably in playtesting, somebody was like, man, this is way too easy to just slot in 2 of these. I don't know. But it exists.
You know what kills me? Fucking integrated slicer gear takes 3 hard points.
Yeah, that's another one of those things. Why?
Why?
That doesn't make any goddamn sense.
Oh no, but no, then you get other crazy ones like integrated holsters. So it increases I'm not I actually got to read on this because I'm not sure because it says +4E. Does it increase your encumbrance by 4 or does the armor increase by 4? Not sure.
So I think the thing is I should probably figure out a better way to phrase it. What's that? Integrated holsters?
Yeah.
I actually had this conversation with Axe earlier because he didn't understand it either. So I believe it increases the encumbrance of the armor by 4 because because it gives you free
weapon holding slots.
Yeah, weapon holding slots of E3 or less, which includes even small rifles and carbines.
Yep.
And you can mod it to hold additional weapons, but it's basically you're making your armor super fucking heavy to trade off the fact that you can slot in a lot more weapons for free, basically. Because this is another conversation we had about encumbrance, right? It's not literal weight system. It's how much this actually encumbers you. An example that I saw on the forums while trying to talk this about was, say you've got a big heavy crate, right? That's E5. That sounds about right for a big fucking crate. That you gotta sling over your shoulder or something. If you pack the crate with 10 blaster rifles, it doesn't become the total encumbrance of 10 blaster rifles. The crate is still a heavy, bulky object that's E5. So you don't have to micromanage all that stuff. But you obviously still have a penalty because E5's fucking heavy. So it's similar with a lot of different little things. The integrated holsters is because you stick all these holsters in your armor, it's very heavy, but that means that you don't have to worry about, if you install all the mods, you can get, I think, 5 weapons.
Yeah.
So you can hold, E12 or 15 worth of guns in your armor for just +4 encumbrance. But still, it's still heavy, though.
Yeah, if I get a helmet, I'm gonna put in that fucking comm link, and I might put in the fucking,
Yeah, helmet comic is 0. That's a good one.
Also, Axe, do you have rangefinder? on your armor, by the way? I know you're listening.
No, is it just rangefinder or rangefinder? Yeah, it's a 0 one.
Yeah, that's 0, and it gives you, if you mod it, you get 2 rings.
It's a little pricey, so he might not have yet, but you guys did get a big infusion of funds.
Mm-hmm. I said it's NP0. It gives you sniper shot, which with your rolls, I think you might like.
Yeah, I think X has actually been looking for places to get the sniper shot talent.
Yeah.
So yeah, the range also. This is speaking of how crazy encumbrance or hard points in armor is. This is an HP 0 mod that gives you a free talent, which is really good.
Yeah, and if you mod it, you get 2 ranks of it for free.
Yeah, for no space. It's funny. And actually, technically, this is built into the helmet that you got in the thing.
So as I said, like Lucky's been doing big brain thinking on Star Wars recently, and
since we've kind of gone back to a weekly schedule for the foreseeable future. It's given you guys more time to think and more time to work, which is good, I think, because even though some of these adventures are shorter, I think they're a little bit more polished because I've got a longer link up time. The next scenario, which is called my document, is called Attack the Submersible. Is most like all the rules are done. I just need to jot down a couple special adversaries. Continue to flex my boss muscles, but not flex too hard because sometimes you guys are. Oh, that's right. That's not going to be out yet. We can tell the story though. You guys got. So if you guys listen to the APs, which you should, especially if you're listening to What's Up, like this puts a lot of our stories in context. I know it's a lot of time, but what are you doing with your life right now, right? So this kind of happens with different games, but especially I think with Star Wars because that's got the whole talent tree progression and everything. There's a lot of back and forth between the GM and the players, and like how encounters are balanced and what's good. Because sometimes these guys will ping pong between like, not necessarily a hard encounter, but we've dealt with all the ads, and Lucky has stunned the boss for literally 2 turns, and there's fuck all he can do about it. So I guess the encounter's just over now. And I'm not necessarily like bitter about that or anything. If I sound salty, it's just like, no, that's just logically what happens. That's the advantage of a slightly more narrative system is that you can actually just go, no, I guess it's just over now. You don't have to keep beating him up even though he's stunned. And then there are other times, like last episode we did, where I always knew there would be an encounter in the bridge, and that was kind of the kickoff because you guys went immediately to the bridge and you started poking stuff, so it was a good chance for, some stuff to come around. I decided because the first run, I think there were 5 of them, they were okay, but they weren't really super good, so I was like, this will be a big one, and also I want to trick you into thinking this is the only combat encounter in this adventure now. I'll be like, there'll be 6 of them. 6 will be fine. Well, for you, I guess you won, so it wasn't that bad. But for some of you, 6 was not fine.
No.
As I'm trying to remember, Axe did get to go once, right?
Yes.
I think I rolled really, really well in their initiative. Some of them got to go first, but their melee attacks were worthless against the clones because the clones had actual armor. Like I think multiple times both Camo and Boots took a security baton to the face and were like, "Oh, I'm fine." Literally nothing happened. Which was kind of bad because those were their only wound-dealing weapons. Those were the only ones that did actual damage. The rest was strain because I gave them non-lethal guns so I could go crazy. But then again, Camo took a solid one in the face and he fell over. I think it was the first time anybody's actually exceeded their strain threshold.
Yes.
So it was really, really good. And then after taking out some more, Marth's character went out too, and he got a lot. Because I think he was slowly creeping up the strain threshold. Because for ye Jedis, strain is a literal resource back and forth, because you need it to activate talents like parry and deflect, though you got a great improved parry, you got a clapback.
Yeah, that was great.
Yeah, that was a big one. That about killed that guy.
Mm-hmm.
But that's a resource you guys have to manage. You need it if you ever want to use dark side pips, right? In addition to destiny points and stuff. So it's very important. So he was slowly creeping up on his own, and then also just took a big hit in the back and passed out. And Omega had to ask himself the question, shit, what do I do if you all pass out? Well, luckily we didn't have to figure that out, but it was interesting to kind of see that kind of go back and forth. So, yes, doing some fights as definitely a small handful of rivals instead of, a couple of minion groups definitely works, especially if they're droids, because the 2 clones are really, really good at killing droids. And we've talked about this on the show before, but there's a definite back and forth, especially because Axe has assigned himself and Camo to the DPS role. So he is the character who likes to go first because he's got the roguelike ability to do more. He's basically got the sneak attack type abilities. So he likes to go first, do lots of damage to the enemy, and I feel like in Axe's mind, his goal is to prevent the enemy from going. I've had this conversation out of game. Maybe Axe, you should not be so fixated on that because that's bad. I think it's wasteful game design if the enemies never get to do anything. Why did I even have them exist, right?
Yeah.
But so there's some tension there about like, okay, I need to go first. I need to get in there. I need to do some stuff. But then that means that like he's usually going first and presenting a huge threat, which means he gets picked on a little bit by the enemies. Hence why he passed out first last time, because he literally double tapped a guy and he exploded and died. Like, I think he did like almost all of his wound threshold with one shot and then was like, well, I'll hit a second time because I'm really good at that. So yeah, the enemies then proceeded to try and body him. And then you physically body them as Arama because you're a punch wizard. Anyway.
Punch wizard? Oh yeah, Axe. Also, you should look into getting a threat monitor.
If you like your quick...
No, it's a 1 point, but the base gives you +1 advantage on initiative checks.
Yeah, I remember what the threat monitor does. It's good.
But it has mods, which also 2 +1 advantage on initiative checks, but also a 1 innate talent quick strike.
Yeah, that would synergize really well, and also means you don't have to burn your strain, because that was a problem with like asking you, because a couple of the characters do have rapid reaction, and they need to have that question of, ooh, do I really want to take a couple strain? And sometimes they just like, now fuck it, I want to go first, I'm doing rapid reaction. I'm like, okay, just spend that strain. Good for you.
And so Axe, definitely put on your sheet, get a rangefinder and threat monitor. I think that'd be good for your character.
Unless you go out of your way, you cannot get more hard points. You can't. There are talent trees and talents that culminate in that, but those are like way down in Gadgeteer Mixer Fix-It trees. So that does kind of fit the character you're building, but it might be more shenanigansy. I don't know. You are one of a couple. Actually, I think both the clones are still at 2 specs. Mm-hmm. The Jedimans are at 3 both, I believe. Or is Marth at 4? No, I think he's only at 3 because he just got Sorasu and then he had Seer before, and he was Padawan.
Axe, if you want to free up a point for like maybe a threat monitor, I think this is what the cat did, or I thought about doing. You can get a piece of armor called the Tracker's Utility Vest. It doesn't give you any armor. It just gives you a little bit of encumbrance, but it comes with 1 hard point, and you can just slap a threat monitor right in there.
Yeah, and that's actually a viable strat because the way armor works is that you use the better values. Mm-hmm. So you could be wearing a hunter's, utility vest, basically. That's what the tracker vest is. Mm-hmm. To get more encumbrance, and then not apply its soak value because you have an actual armor set under it.
Yeah, I don't think it actually has any armor or defense. I think it's literally just a vest.
Yeah, I think it's just an alternate way and a more fluffy way to get more encumbrance.
Yeah.
And that's got a hard point too, so you can do some stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like I was saying, there's some back and forth there with like, okay, I'm gonna go first and I'm gonna shoot everybody. Oh shit, not everybody's dead. And that's why I'm like, sometimes it's okay to have a couple of mooks get in, because the players feel good, they do very flashy, they shoot a lot of guys. Man, I'm cool. But you can't be cool all the time. That's not how, in normal fiction, those characters are like, Mary Sue's, and we don't like them when you win all the time.
Nope.
So there has to be dramatic tension. It's just finding that sweet spot of where the dramatic tension is to actually work it. Because I wasn't necessarily, I was kind of thinking it should seem like it was decently strong, so that you, like I said, I was trying to like put you guys off edge about the actual boss encounter, which was a lot more entertaining and balanced, I think. Like, you guys took a couple of big hits, but it wasn't necessarily a creeping doom of like, oh, I'm gonna die or pass out most of the time.
I don't think anyone went down in the boss fight.
Well, okay. Nobody exceeded their wound threshold.
No.
Some of their weapons did have knockdowns, so some people did physically fall over.
Oh.
You took some crits, but no, nobody exceeded their wound threshold and had to stop fighting.
Don't forget the Tracker's Utility Vest, so you can slap in that threat monitor. Because the way they fluff the threat monitor is sometimes it's a heads-up display, sometimes it's just an annoying beeping sound. Who knows?
Yeah,
or quite
get some, get your Soliton radar system.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think we've talked a decent amount about Star Wars. Any other points?
No, I'm excited for this week's game. Arma is definitely looking into getting some things done with her bar. We actually finally fucking statted out some fucking people.
Yeah, so that was the thing where you were like, I think I want an actual vacation. I want to just hang out in my bar. And I'm like, So, I had to ask the question, okay, are we going to spend all our time in the bar, or are you thinking about maybe just like a couple of like small scenes and vignettes and see some more people?
Yeah.
Because I definitely have ideas that I could write out more interesting like stuff, but I would need to actually then plan on that, which obviously this week I did not. I'm writing my notes for Submersible instead. But I did actually jot down some things, and we went some back and forth and came up with some characters who should show up in the actual bar. And, some little things you guys can do while you're down there. Not enough to, like, take up a whole session, but definitely enough to have, like, a scene or two of tackling stuff, which makes sense.
Yeah. Like I said, I've always envisioned the bar kind of being a hub location. It's the quest collection center. It's where
because you guys don't have a ship.
Nope.
Well, you do have a ship now.
But it's a small ship.
Yeah, it's a compact ship. I had a lot of fun designing it using the custom rules, and then just assuming that the person who made it did good. So it's a really good ship at what it does,
which is going fast.
Yeah, but since you guys aren't traveling, I should say, in a big like party hub ship, that makes sense that you have a location that you gather around.
Mm-hmm.
And, when you're doing other missions, maybe you go up to the war table or whatever, but for casual every day, hang out in the bar, talk to your people, get stuff, sell some stuff.
Mm-hmm. So, looking forward to that. I said, Arama, I said, I'm trying to get everything so we don't spend like an hour and a half doing shopping, but eventually that's probably what's going to end up happening anyway. But it'll be better than the 2 hours of shopping that we might have.
Right, we'll be more focused. At least it'll probably be relevant to the thing we're doing.
Yeah.
And who knows, maybe you guys will just, I don't necessarily expect it, but maybe you guys will just take your lumps and, figure out the plan ahead of time.
Mm-hmm.
And get everything down, and it won't matter. Who knows? But yeah, that'll be fun tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, stretching. So we kind of got fired off on a topic.
Yeah. Do you want to talk about the Fate RPG at all?
Not really. I think I mentioned most of it on the actual Let's Talk FGO earlier. Just, it's going. You should check it out. It will be several sessions just because, I think I said on the Let's Talk, it is a thing of like, okay, we've got, 5 people in here, all of whom are fans of Fate, obviously. So there's a lot of crosstalk, a lot of back and forth, and there's a lot of Omega has to stop everybody and be like, it's like that joke you posted from Pacific Rim with Idris Elba, being like, you, shut up, you, keep talking. Like, there's a little bit of back and forth there, and there's a little bit of Omega loudly objecting when people are doing stuff, but I have to just, like, I gotta keep the cats herded, so I have to be a little, like, out there and be like, no, okay, that's not how initiative works. The person who went has to say who goes next. And I think technically you're supposed to do it faster and not necessarily be like, oh, do you have a plan? But it all worked out. The fact that people are actively doubling up on characters, like, these guys don't send their servants out alone to do anything. We're all in the same scene and stuff, does mean that there's a lot of pressure. But at the same time, I don't feel like my NPCs were necessarily immediately bodied,
That's good.
Because there's no limit to the number of reactions you get. So basically a big boss character can literally stand there and try and take everybody's hits. And if I wanted to, I could have countered. I felt like that would be rude for a lot of the things, if I was like, oh, you didn't do anything and also I'm gonna, hurt you back, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which is a mechanic you can do in the system, but I haven't used a lot yet. But it will be. There was definitely, I think, some learning and some going back and forth in the mechanics, and hopefully we're gonna get a little more polished about stuff. But yeah, I'm okay with it taking longer. I'm kind of surprised, but not surprised,
Mm-hmm.
Like, I've been joking that it would be a one shot, so it's clearly going to take at least 2 sessions, just because I know how these things work.
Mm-hmm.
But it's going well. In the background, I've definitely been working on a lot of interesting designs and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Well, actually, you say that, but fighting Assassin Medea in the first session didn't actually take that long. That was really just a 1-2 combo. But that's because the big burly berserker actually started and just not quite whole hog, because didn't use NP and stuff, but like, you did stuff. Well, Axe, you also rush everything. You never want to take your time. You always want to move on to the next thing. Like, what if it's the point? Are you going to get to the final boss and be like, woo, let's rush through this? Like, what's your plan here? Is the goal to be done in 30 minutes? Stop looking at the clock. Have fun. Have fun with your friends, Axe. Not to pick on Axe too hard, because I feel like he's gotten the impression that we from our Star Wars stuff that, we want to move on but don't. He just needs to pick his battles a little bit better. Like when we're shopping and fucking around, yes, totally, that's okay, can we do the thing now? But when we're role-playing and stuff, or when other people are trying to figure out their actions, that's not, okay, let's move on. I'm like, no, this is downtime. Everybody gets to do something. Until everybody says whether or not they do something, we go nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we don't have to worry about the time. Don't worry about it. We can play for 1,000,000 hours.
Yeah.
I prefer to keep it to 3 hours per session just because recording, but I don't have to. Especially considering sometimes we've done some long sessions of Star Wars and they've edited, between editing and just data-wise, they've compressed pretty well. I don't really understand how that works. I don't know. But it works out. Yeah. It's not a hard cap. I just, as a personal preference, I usually like the 2 to 3 hour mark, but
Listen, Lucky, you've seen Lucky stream and play video games on air. Lucky can go for
no, and in the days of my ute, we'd play games for 4 or 5 hours in the middle of the night. Yeah. But I realize that that's not always a great life choice for everybody, so
yeah.
We don't do that so much anymore. But yeah, honestly, Axe, that's another thing. Don't necessarily, I'm the GM, I'm steering the ship. I don't know if I'd call myself the captain, but I'm steering the ship. You don't worry about that. I can worry about my own time management, maybe.
Probably. Maybe.
So I can mention that now if the only other thing I think I wanted to talk about was, just that I've been doing a lot of background work on developing characters and stuff for the library and doing some interesting things. Just because it's fun to do some stuff. Modeled Achilles the other day. Achilles is real BS. He's really cool. He's probably one of the strongest riders ever.
Ooh.
Oz is up there, but that's because a lot of people in Prototype are fucking bullshit. Or I should say Prototype fragments. Though, honestly, I think Prototype was designed without the masquerade in mind. Mages have to keep mystery secret and stuff. So, that was a plot point that I think Nasu kind of kludged in later, after we're changing over to Fate Stay Night and working on it more. Linking it into the greater universe. So, Prototype Gil can shoot an arrow to cause the Babylonian flood and, fucking flood downtown Tokyo. Oz can summon his giant sunboat and shoot sun lasers, blow up all of Tokyo if he feels like it. I don't know. Everybody feels real good. But Achilles is befitting his status as one of the most famous and, but no, Axe, everything's the stuff that I worked on. Sorry, we're cutting back. Axe is in the chat talking. I worked on that stat line for that boss. It's much more cool and interesting if she actually does things and doesn't immediately get taken out like a chump. I got a couple good hits in. Achilles has stat lines befitting and has 5 noble phantasms, all of which are good. So in the system, he's got 2 different invulnerable saves, many different attacking abilities and weird stuff. All kinds of fun things. So I work on that occasionally, but I mentioned earlier I might talk about my current time management problem, which is the sky. Oh, vengeful Zeus.
So
it's very suddenly decided to it definitely stopped being winter. It is definitely not winter anymore. It is now summer. Because for a while, even into April, the climate was being real swingy down here. It would still occasionally get really, not necessarily cold by April, but it would still get suddenly cool. Mm-hmm. But then there was a big tropical rain system last week, and then since then it's definitely summer. It's going to rain every afternoon and possibly thunder. And, the pillars of heaven are going to shake, and I've had some power outages here in the middle of some stuff. And so that's kind of, fluffing some stuff. I think also that's been the cause of some internet ticks ups and down. But, my problem is that's not a problem for my PC. I predicted this problem, and last year I got a very nice UPS, which runs my PC and some extra shit, in the case of an outage. It will keep my computers and stuff up for about 10 minutes so that if the power just flickers out or goes out for a little bit, I can, wait, prevents, sudden shutdowns. And if the power is going out, I can, make sure to save projects and stuff. So even though right now it's raining, I'm not concerned that we're recording the show because at the very least I can save what we've done so far and come back to it if I have to actually stop. Or if not, it'll just be fine. I just have to wait for my internet to come back, But, so we're not going to talk hardly anything about P5 on my end because I haven't played a whole lot because what I don't have is I don't have an UPS for my PlayStation. And PlayStation 4 really doesn't like it when you shut the power off suddenly, and I've noticed that maybe it's just because my hard drives are getting a little full and stuff, but it's definitely getting a little sluggish when it boots back up from a power outage. Like, it has to reorganize itself and double-check everything. It's starting to take a little time.
Yep.
So I'm like, I should be careful with it. So I'm trying to avoid playing on my console too much because I don't have a battery backup. Now, I have ordered one from Amazon, but I don't know what the fuck Amazon is doing because they won't tell me anything. They just told me that the order will arrive this Wednesday. I ordered it last weekend, by the way. Almost a week ago. I decided to go ahead and order it. So they say that it'll come. It's been confirmed. It still hasn't been shipped. It's supposed to arrive by the 3rd. But I've been checking my bank account for other reasons, and I noticed that Amazon keeps charging me and putting the money back, but they haven't told me there's anything wrong with the order or the payment or anything, so I have no idea what the fuck is going on with this thing. And it's not like, what am I going to do, call somebody and be like, what the fuck is happening? Like, it's not that big of a deal. I just need to decide. I'll probably wait until, like, early this week and see if it, like, ships or misses the date. Then I'll probably, if it's actually borked, I'll just cancel it and try again, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I did recently have to update my debit card because it expired, but I updated that information when I made this order, so it should be fine, but I don't know. Shit's weird. But hopefully I can get that and not too far in the future, because that'd just give me a lot of peace of mind to do console stuff again. Like, honestly, if it's really stormy on Tuesday when it's my stream day again, I might have to, like, I don't know, do something different. As much fun as people are having watching me play children's card games. Just because, you know, I don't want to blow up all my shit in the middle of the night. That's not good. You know, be nice to your technology. Consider investing in battery backups. They're really good, and if it keeps happening like it does in places like Florida where there's this constant shenanigans with the sky in the summer, that will actually really start fucking your tech up. It's not meant to keep shutting down and turning back on again.
Maybe I should think about getting some ups or something.
Just to be safe. I don't know. Do you guys... I know it does rain a lot up there, but do you have a lot of, like, thunderstorms and power flicker problems?
We don't really have power flicker problems, but we do have a lot of people who like to run into things that will turn off the power.
That's a different problem. When I lived in Guam for a period, that was a real problem we had. They had a real issue with a invasive species of tree snake, brown tree snakes, who would climb on power poles, but they could, because they're snakes, they could accidentally, you know, coil around a couple of the contacts on the power poles, and boom, that's a short, and then your power's fucked until they can fix it.
Right, snake.
Yeah, the snake is toast, and so is your electricity.
Yeah, well, occasionally we have that problem with squirrels, birds. Sometimes the people will occasionally drive into an electric station.
I don't know. Florida. I feel like Florida traffic is awful, so I can see that also being a reason why the power flickers. But no, when there's a crack of thunder and then the lights dim, I'm pretty sure that means that, like, something on the grid is being struck by, you know, great and mighty Thor.
Like, as up here in the Pacific Northwest, we get a lot of rain, but we don't get a lot of thunderstorms. We actually had a thunderstorm this morning, and if you look at our Twitter, everyone's all like, "Praise be to thunder!"
Yeah, because... I mean, hey, I love, you know, rainy mood and rains and stuff. It's very relaxing, but it's just, when I'm trying to work, it's just very annoying. I feel like I've probably been a little tense this week because we did have quite a bit of work to build up to. Because there was a lot of notes for, like, last show, and I'm, like, juggling several video projects and recordings, and I'm just like, please stop fucking my shit up, Thunder. Like, it was a late day, but I was like, it was early in the afternoon, I was getting up and I was trying to make breakfast and get my day started, and the fucking power goes out, and I'm like, I mean, I haven't even started coffee, Sky Gods. What are you doing to me? This is just not right. So, like, that's why I think my time has been a little goofed up lately. Luckily, it doesn't rain super into the night, so I have actually done a couple of things, if you want to talk about them, so we can talk about some stuff.
Sure. Let's talk about some stuff.
Well, what I felt like would be the primary topic of this episode, last week, did we talk about Helltaker at all?
No, I don't
the
think
sensation
so.
Sweeping the nation? I don't think so. We may have mentioned it, but,
yeah.
So, in case we didn't, high level, Helltaker is a game that came out. It came out a couple of weeks ago now. It's by a Polish developer whose name escapes me. Sorry. But it's free to play on Steam. It's very, very short, honestly.
Very short.
But it has a very interesting design scheme. The author said that he designed it because he didn't think there were enough demon girls in sharply dressed suits. So he made an entire game about collecting them. Thus, Helltaker. But in the last week or so, the art scene has really taken off for Helltaker, the fan art. I think it, like, popped in Japan a little bit.
Oh yeah,
then,
it was like a couple days after the game came out that the Japanese localization pack came out, and they went wild.
Yeah, it started to filter in there, and then they've been going whole hog or possibly whole horse on this, and just go nuts. And there's been a lot of Helltaker fan art, and it's very interesting to see who's in it. So I will say one of the things I did do was I sat down. Was it Wednesday afternoon after the show, or was it Tuesday? No, it wouldn't have been Tuesday. Tuesday would have been stream, and then I did the stuff. So I think it might have been Thursday when you stopped streaming.
Maybe.
Actually, I think that's what it was. It was Thursday. You streamed for a few hours, and you cut it off. And then I had already, I think, tuned out because you were doing an interlude, and I was like, I don't want to spoil myself. So I played Helltaker, and you can do it in like a couple hours tops. I am glad, because I said this on my Tuesday stream, I thought about streaming Helltaker because I hadn't played it, but I was like, no, it's a puzzle game. That would be bad. The chat would be insufferable. So I'm like, no, I'm glad I did, if only because it's not long and most of the puzzles aren't hard. I did just, look up a couple of them just because I'm like, I'm not learning anything yet. But most of them you can kind of figure out the gimmick and just do them in a couple tries. I really like, though, that, I think it's 9. Lucifer's puzzle is just, it's a row of skeleton men. How you actually beat it is you just go all the way around to the front and just kick the front guy out and cut in the line.
And you're like, yo, Lucifer, I got pancakes. He's like, done.
You're lucky I have a thing for pancakes. And obviously, I think, and honestly, looking up the puzzles, I think, because you can just skip them too. The game literally has a puzzle skip feature. I think it's legit. I did also, while I was looking up solutions to a couple, some of them were like, and make sure you do blah, blah, blah. So I got the secret ending too.
Yeah.
But the game is not complete easy modo because there is a section you can't really skip or walk through, which is, there is a boss fight at the end. Which I actually appreciate because I'm like, oh no, this is like pure like skill and reflex based because you can't just cheese it.
Nope.
So it's got some like in the mechanics. So that was really fun. So I played it all. But it was very interesting to see because there's 10 sections in the epilogue, 11 sections. I don't know. There's like 10 girls though.
Yeah.
And it's very interesting to see because for some reason, the internet, at least to me anyway, my internet filters don't talk about some of them at all.
Oh yeah.
Like Pendamonica, the tired demon, who in the epilogue is revealed to be Pendamonica, the sadistic demon, once she gets her coffee. Haven't hardly seen her at all, which is weird because she has glasses. I don't know, maybe people just aren't into the sleepy look. Then there's a fun one. Oh, I should start that one actually. Because it's funny. There's a lot of funny little animations, and stuff. But so I don't see her a lot. I'm pretty sure I don't see Beelzebub a lot because she's the secret character, and so some people might not even know she exists. I'm trying to think. So Modius and Lucy, I think, are some of the most popular. Which makes sense.
I don't know. I would say Lucifer and Kerberos is the most popular.
Yes, and Kerberos is a solid third. It's probably because Modius is the lustful demon, but she's also pretty fun. And one of the few characters who actually that's kind of the joke I think in the end is like Helltaker is the game starts with Helltaker wakes up from a dream and is like, I must get a harem of demon girls, I'm gonna bust into hell. There's only like a couple who actually seem interested romantically. Like I've seen a little bit of Azazel, but that makes sense because it's pretty implied, and I believe the developer has heavily suggested that the angel Azazel is actually really just gay for demon girls, which is why she's there. But only like Modius is interested in going on a date with you. It starts with a Z. It's the bitchy demon who's like, she seems a little spicy at times.
Hang on, let me see. Where did I put it?
But the sour demon just wants to play turn-based strategy games, which is hilarious. Cerberus or Kerberos is just cute. The triple demon. Justice is just cool. She's just like rad. I don't think I see a super lot of Justice art. I see a little bit. Judgment is, I think, probably somewhere in the mid 5. Right here, I do see a decent amount of her art, not as much as like Lucy or Cerberus or even Modius. Boom. There we go. There's a full list. So there's Pandemonica. Is Modius second? I think she is. Melina the Sour Demon. Zerdra the Bitch Demon. Cerberus the Triplet Demon. Justice. Judgment, which... What the fuck is her quote? I think people... Yeah, start of the... something with the chains, ignite the sin machine.
Yeah.
Judgment speaks in all caps a lot.
Yeah.
Which I think is why
you look
she's
at her
popular.
design, that is an all caps character.
Yes. Everybody else is nicely dressed, except Judgment, who is, well, snazzily dressed, is like wearing gauntlets and greaves and too many belts, and her jacket shirt is open. Like, Justice is a casual cool. She's wearing shades because she's blind, duh. And like her jacket is on her shoulders because she's cool. Pandemonica, let's see, they got the skirt combo. Modius is funny because she's the demon of lust, and her name is based on Asmodeus, but she's wearing like a turtleneck sweater and leggings. Though now that I'm looking at her design, her skirt is very short.
Actually, yeah. So fun fact, if you get the secret ending, you actually get a code that lets you download an art book.
Mm-hmm. And
so it comes with concept art. And where is the one for...
You can also just buy that. You can buy the soundtrack art book and pancake recipe for like $9.99, which I recommend if you don't unlock it on your own, you should actually do, because it's, the game is free and it's really good, so you should give them something. Yeah. So you're gonna bring up the developer's notes that originally she was a little more revealing in her design, but a friend that said that that she's kind of trashy.
Yeah. I like the last note. Also, her name used to be Sodomy, the Love Starved Demon, but literally 10 seconds before sending the pre-alpha to the first test, I had that, am I right in the head kind of revelation. Mm-hmm. I love notes like this.
Yeah, art notes are fun.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so it's got a very, so the design obviously is very interesting. It's a very focused design, talk about like feature creep and stuff. Like the design is laser focused on, no, demon girls in suits.
Demon girls in suits, kick around some shit.
Simple puzzle, great music beats. It's got a very catchy soundtrack.
Oh yeah, it does.
I put my headphones on for it. And then just like you can see the recurring themes. Like all the demons have white hair, and then they have red and black color schemes. Whereas Azazel, who's the one angel, she has dark hair and blue eyes and a white and gold color scheme. And then Beelzebub inverts it. She has white highlights and kind of a black background, like the black inside of her coat, and primarily is red, which is a fun touch. It's interesting, though, like I said, Lucifer is very, very popular, but she's kind of one of the almost indifferent characters.
Well, I think it's...
You bust in and you're... Well, yeah, she's a very...
She has a bit of a gap, which is great.
Yeah, she's got some gags, and also she's kind of... Like, if you think about it, she's one of the silliest recruitments. Like, most of them you get on your side by just saying, yo, we're doing something cool, or just doing the Helltaker equivalent of get in the bag, basically.
Yeah.
Get in my spooky demon girl sack. Not that they would all fit in a bag. That would be bad. There'd be some fighting in that sack.
I also think it's begun because at first you see Lucy as her CEO, and then you see her again as, wearing the Satan apron. Also, yes. There's also the part where she's trying to yell at Judgment to get in line, and she's like, "Why won't anyone listen to me?" I'm just like,
"Yes, she has a very classy anime, embarrassed, almost crying sprite."
Yes. So that's why I think Lucy's at the top, and then I said, like, honestly, just adorable puppy girls are great.
Yes, Cerberus has a very being in triplicate is a very funny one for Cerberus, and is a solid design theme that's very memorable. Because there's 3 of them and they're identical. But yeah, I think the thing with Lucifer is just that, like, because when you go to recruit her, you just boop in and be like, she asks you, all right, you can join my team, and your correct answer, because you can get bad ends in a lot of these conversations. Which is also another reason why I looked up a couple puzzle solutions, because it's just like, I don't want to have to keep doing this from memory every time if I fuck up a dialogue. Because you'll fucking die a lot.
Yeah, you'll fucking die.
Like, literally the first thing, if you say the wrong thing to Pandemonica, she just, like, reaches over and snaps your neck.
Mm-hmm.
You can remember to do the life advice button, too. There very rarely are actually hints about the puzzle.
But they're entertaining.
Yeah, because you're asking the girls you've already collected. But with Lucifer, you just go like, no. You're like, nah, girl, you're in my harem now. And she's just like,
what can you offer
but
me?
Why? And you're like, I got pancakes. And she's just like, you're lucky I have a thing for pancakes. But then, yeah, like you said, she has that very iconic sprite in the Judgment boss fight where she's trying to tell Judgment, yo, it's okay, we're just going to get pancakes, you can let the guy go. And she's like, no! It's just like, why does nobody listen to me? I'm supposed to be the queen of hell.
Actually, shit. Yeah,
hell
like,
CEO.
that's right. Yeah, I forgot. The actual fucking art book comes with, like, all the game sprites, I think. Hang on here. Yeah, here it is. Lucifer rustled. That's the name of the fucking,
Nice. Burp.
Man, can I
Sure
choose
to download that.
kind of...
But yeah, that's her yelling about being the queen of hell. Or CEO, depending on which version we're looking at. But yeah. And then, like you said, yeah, she does the Satan apron, which is very popular with fan artists.
Where is it? In here. Ah, here it is. It's just like, yeah.
Does her hair up in a ponytail? There's a lot of... Well, okay, Loth is brought up, yes. Japanese artists have done a lot of the...
Rangefinder is an armor mods.
It's an armor mod. Japan has done a lot of naked apron of Lucifer because, well, she canonically wears an apron.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously, in the actual sprite, she's wearing her red shirt under it.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, that doesn't stop the internet.
Honestly, I'm pretty sure the artist is, like, the creator of the game is sitting back in their chair going, excellent.
Well, yeah, I think he literally said that his intent was to create sharply dressed demon girls the game just because he didn't think there was enough of that out there. And I'm like, nah, that's cool.
Nah, that's cool. He wanted a thing. He did not bitch about it. He just simply did it.
Yeah, he put more of that energy out into the world.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Which is the thing more people need to just, you know, rustle up
and
do.
I will say, no, thanks to this game, there is now the entry CEO Demon King in the Monster Girl Collection game.
Well, yeah, it's a pretty fun one. But yeah, so I played Helltaker. Lucky obviously played Helltaker. It's not that long. You can beat it. You do some fun stuff. And it's really been taken over the zeitgeist. This is like Bowsette tier, like, blow up, I think. Just, at least on Twitter fan art. Like, I almost can't go 5 minutes without stumbling into some new Helltaker art.
That's because Lucky is a madman and continuously retweets it.
I mean, true, but also, still. Not just you, though. I follow a lot of Japanese artists who are all about Helltaker.
I still fucking love you entrants like, I'm gonna get demon girls.
Yeah, Helltaker's himself, the Helltaker, is an interesting character who is also sharply dressed with shades. And he's not invincible, because you can run out of willpower and die.
Mm-hmm.
But still pretty bold and has an excellent kicking leg.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that's a super fun one. Lucky, do you have anything you want to talk about Helltaker with other than what we talked about already?
No. Excuse me, phone.
Oh shit, are you getting another call?
No,
on a
I'm
microphone?
not streaming. So I'm not actually streaming, therefore probably not getting called.
That's true, you're not technically streaming anything right now.
Yes, as usual, when Lucky streams, he gets fucking phone calls. For some god-awful reason. Anyway, no, as I said, like, I really like Helltaker. Like, I actually found a bunch of wallpapers that just use simple sprites on red backgrounds. I'm like, yes. Every minute, change it. Change it!
Well, yeah, I think it's one of those perfect storm indie games. It's, like, free to get, you know, but you can pay for more stuff.
Well, yeah. I mean, honestly, it's the ideal model for a fad.
Yeah. It's low entry
free.
point.
Mm-hmm.
It's short, so anybody who picks it up can get through it pretty fast and honest, like, and you can literally skip the puzzles just to do the story and stuff.
You have ability to get extra assets out of it with the art book, because as I said, like, I didn't actually like look for the full thing, because when I got the secret art book, I saw that they had a secret pancake recipe in, and I'm all like, this fucking kills me.
Which, by the way, explains why Helltaker has a knife in him in one of the ending slides. He's just got a knife in his shoulder. It's because Lucifer fucking stabbed him.
Yeah, apparently life with demon girls ain't all that easy, but he manages.
Some of them are definitely down for kinky sex, and others are down to play video games. And I'm not entirely sure that, like, Justice and Judgment just don't go out beating up people Streets of Rage style.
I'm pretty sure they do. Like, when the cops show up, Judgment is just all like, how dare they trespass?
Yeah, she's like, there are trespassers at your domicile. Shall we destroy them? And he's just like, no, I'll just go talk to him. And they're there because Cerberus did something. Honestly, I'm pretty sure Cerberus it's a beautiful little game. That's another one of the things I think is great, is it's got basically the playable epilogue where you can chat with everyone.
You chat with everyone. You see how their life is. It's
yes,
great.
the cops are also cute girls. The art, the aesthetic knows what it is.
Yep. Girls in suits. So, yeah, honestly, I'm super glad that Helltaker came out. I give thanks. Like, honestly, I should probably just toss some money at the dude. Even though I got the art book, just toss it anyway. Just be like, you did good.
And, do more. Maybe grow more. Who knows?
Yeah, it's on Steam.
Yeah, it's on Steam. It's free on Steam.
Get it.
And who knows? Maybe if it gets popular, there would be like a cheap. Like I don't know how well other marketplaces do free games. I guess PlayStation does. I'm just wondering, like, could you port it to like Switch or PS4 or something? PS Store, Switch, whatever. Probably you could because the architectures are similar. I'm just wondering about the monetize. But yeah, that could be a fun way to grow it. I know there's a couple of games that are getting Switch ports. Like XCOM 2 just got a big, comprehensive Switch port. Stuff like that. Still haven't played Chimera Squad, by the way, me. I'll get to it sometime.
One day, someday.
Honestly, that's probably safer right now than trying to play like P5. But we'll see. I'll find some time. I'm working through a lot of stuff. Helltaker, good.
Lit. No, that's fine, actually. You can put it as a threat radar. Technically, it is.
No, it's +2 encumbrance.
Yeah, I don't think it actually weighs anything.
It would say in the encumbrance column what it weighs.
Yeah.
And if it weighs anything, you do reduce armor by 3.
Exactly. That's the point of it.
Yeah, it's just carry capacity.
So let's see here. I guess if we're talking a little bit about video games and consoles, I can talk a little bit. So we do have June's PlayStation Plus games coming out. As I said, I'm a Sony and Nintendo boy, so I'm always interested in it. And they actually did something a little bit. And wow, you have a lot of encumbrance acts. Jesus.
I don't know why. I guess he carries a lot of heavy stuff. Do we need to audit your inventory too?
I think we might. So for June of 2020, we are getting Call of Duty World War II, which actually came out, I think, on the 26th. They said.
Yeah, they've already done. They've already done that. You can already get it free. I've seen you play.
Yeah, get it free. But the second game they're coming out is Star Wars Battlefront 2, which I don't have, and I'm just like, do I want to play this?
Ooh, well, I'm gonna warn you, Lucky. You're gonna need about 50 bajillion gigs free. It's a fat game. I think it's literally like 120 gigs now.
I don't know. Like I said, because here's the thing. I don't know, like, Star Wars Battlefront 2 definitely seems like one of those games that is definitely more multiplayer focused. I don't know how good its single player is.
The single player is okay, but it is short. And it's not really that impressive. You do stuff.
Yeah.
I feel like it definitely, like, they wanted to do big, cool narrative stuff, and they had some nice moments, but also there was a lot of, okay, well, now you're going to play as Han Solo for 30 minutes, so you know how to play Han Solo in the multiplayer. And I'm just like, why? I've talked at length before about what I think the pros and cons of the Battlefront 2 storyline is.
Yeah, so I'm like, I don't know if I actually want that, because like I said, Lucky likes playing his first-person shooters. He clarifies that by he likes playing first-person shooter story campaigns. Like, I downloaded Call of Duty World War II. I beat the single player. I'm probably about to delete it. I'm like, that's all I wanted in life. Bye.
That's fair. How is the single player?
It's fun. I say it's a good old Band of Brothers World War II story. You start on D-Day and you make it all your way. You fight all the way to the Rhine. It's great. It has some twists. It has a little bit of turns. At one point, you derail a truck by shoving a jeep under it. You derail a train by shoving a truck underneath it. A jeep. Excuse me. And you're just front row center as a train literally explodes around you. I'm like, this is badass. I'm also terrified. I think I said, like, Call of Duty single players are usually okay. They're usually pretty good. Like,
they have a lot of different studios work on, and they have a lot of different experience. So I think it makes sense that they are in fact goo.
They are goo. And as I said, and I could definitely say it scratched my Mages of War itch. I was like, I'm looking at all these old guns. I'm like, oh yeah, it's an M1. It's an M1 Grand. And like, fucking, it's a bar. Running around, picking up like giant thing. Panzerfaust. Yeah, Tyranno King. Well, that's the thing. Humans normally don't have just auto regen functions.
Well, yeah, and I'm sure that's what they're going for. Is they're doing a throwback to stuff. It's like why in Halo Reach you have medkits again in health, because that's how the original Halo was, and it takes place. And Reach is a prequel.
It also means you just can't bum rush things, hide, and then continually bum rush things.
Yeah, the classic joke about Call of Duty. Oh shit! I got some strawberry jam in my face. Let me wipe it off.
Mm. Oh yeah, no. It's like if you want me to sit down and go through your character sheet with you, I can totally do that. I don't mind doing that. I like doing that. But the thing I did like about World War II though is usually you're going with your brothers, and basically they had a system where as you get kills, it would fill up their meter, and when their meter got filled, you can do a special action. And so, like, one would just give you a free med kit, one would just fill up your ammo, one would give you grenades, one would let you pop smoke for an airstrike, and the last one will highlight all enemies in the area. I'm all like,
oh, neat. So cool. It's kind of like they introduced the kill streak system for multiplayer and a single player.
Yeah,
that's actually really neat because that gives you more flexibility without it being like,
yeah.
Because I've played some Battlefield storylines, and when they do stuff where like, okay. Like, I remember, like, very, very big, the Battlefield 3 storyline where it's just like, okay, now you're in the plane mission. Okay, now you're in the tank mission. Like, they deliberately set it up so, okay, here's how you do tank controls in multiplayer, but also just do them. Whereas, it sounds like what World War II did with the special powers is just like, yeah, this basically functions like a kill streak, and you can just do it whenever you do it to do stuff.
Yeah, and World War II did have a tank mission. It did have a plane mission. But it was always in the context of the fucking story, and they usually didn't drag on too long. Like at one mission, like you're basically brought down in a square, so you have to scream for your armor to come support you, and then you just go whoop. Now you're Perez, who you were introduced to earlier. He's a cool dude. And they're like, all right, we got to go support our boys, and so you do a short mission, to take care of that. Another time, funnily enough, you are trapped in a fucking cabin and you need air support, so you get on the radio and yell for planes to come save you. But the planes are escorting bombers, so you're like, all right, well, we gotta get these birds to the point. Let us do this. And I'm gonna tell you right now, I was actually shoot at the aerial dogfighting. Oh god. I'm pretty sure all the NPCs shot him down. I think I shot down maybe 4.
Well, I gotta be honest, Call of Duty's not exactly known for gripping vehicle controls.
Yeah. Also, yeah, no, the story's good. Like I said, it's a band of brothers kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like when you're fucking spending months in enemy territory, your comrade at arms is your family. And
so do they have a big bomber mission that's like AC-130 missions?
No, none of that.
That's a shame.
Yeah, no.
That's what Call of Duty does very well, is those types of air missions. Man, I'm remembering the C-130 mission from. Oh, that's right. They did actually. I don't have it yet, but they did actually release Modern Warfare 2 Remastered.
Oh yeah, that's right.
It's not been free yet, but it exists, and I should pick it up because my PS3 is currently a little greebled.
I should too. As I said, going back to Call of Duty Modern, like I said,
no, the original Modern Warfare, COD 4 Modern Warfare, has a really good story.
Yeah, it's just that when it came out, no one would shut up about the multiplayer, and that kind of deterred me away from it. I was like, eh.
But then that's another thing. You've talked about, you haven't actually played any Halo because people. The thing that gave Halo longevity, I think, was the fact that it had a really fun multiplayer that you could just, do LAN parties, but it actually has a really together story. And that is definitely something I want to do sometime as the channel, is like Omega takes, because you can at least 2P co-op, I think, every Halo game.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
To actually go back and check out these narratives, because, you talk about the Band of Brothers and Squad and stuff, and definitely some of the Halo games lean that way.
# squad goals. So, like I said, I had good fun with it, but I said, again, once you play a game, unless you're going to go for trophies or whatever, I don't see a reason necessary to play it again. And I checked the trophy list. Aside from having a bunch of expansions in the mode of, I think, multiplayer maps and zombie modes, it's just the base game has multiplayer trophies. I'm just I'm not about that life. So I'm going to get rid of it. And I'm like I said, I'm not sure I want to pick up Star Wars Battlefront 2.
I mean, if you have the space, I'd say go for the quick download just to play the story real quick. It won't take you long, just to see what it's like so you can talk about it, but otherwise it's not that important.
Now, I'm probably going to pick up something like Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition, because I've been needing an RPG. I need something to sink time into. Because unfortunately, Lucky's starting to realize that I play video games real quick.
Well, yeah, when you get on your video game one, also because you're currently unemployed, but, I think in general, Lucky, you are definitely the kind of type who's just I will just sit up and play this game forever. Mm-hmm. And I do that with some games, but I don't do that as much these days because I spin a lot of plates. So there's usually a little bit of, okay, I've played the game for a solid bunch, and then it's like, okay, time to flip to something else real quick. After like 4 or 5 hours.
No, look, it's just multitasks.
That also is a thing you do.
Mm-hmm. Like, literally, while I'm playing, like, most of the time while I was playing the story in World War II, I had my phone on my chest as I'm doing either FGO or Azure Lane. As I said, auto battles are a thing. It's great. Also, I've been doing a little work on the Monster Hunter game. Like, has figured out that he thinks he's gonna need about 80 unique monster girls.
Well, before you get too deep into that topic, because I know you want to talk about it, let's take a break.
All right.
Okay, we're back. So, Lucky was going to talk about Monster Girl stuff.
I'm going to talk about Monster Girl stuff. So, I've been talking to people here and there, bouncing ideas off back and forth. And so, you don't need my email. I just need to go to your sheet, and you just need to grant people editing access to it.
Yeah, you don't need to make it public. You can just make it so that people with a link can edit.
Yeah.
Google Docs!
Google Docs! So let me actually pull up my Monster Girl doc actually real quick here.
Ah, you have a design document already. Good.
Yeah. It's called the MGC proposal. Because, like I said, eventually this probably is going to have to get pushed up to an actual Kickstarter thing. But I don't want to start a Kickstarter without a very, very firm outline of what I want this game to be. So basically, I already want to have basically the board design. I want to have maybe a couple artists interested in doing designs.
Yeah, you'll need a rough sketch so that especially if you're doing a Kickstarter, there'll need to be like a video or something. So you'll need to be like, this is the plan.
Yeah,
and then have artists interested or on the line to be attached to the game would be a good for public stuff.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Not that I think you'd be hurting for willing artists. We just have to pay them all because that's how art works, guys. You have to pay for it.
And as I said, I have to talk the negotiating persons. Will they just want a one-time commission fee for the art, and then we technically own the art? Will they like royalties for use of art? Blah 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 blah. As like I said, I got to talk.
Yeah, we got to figure out contract stuff.
Mm-hmm. So,
also, we'd probably need. I don't know. We'd probably need to be a business too. Like figure out what that means. I don't know how that. We have to look at how Kickstarter works, for instance. Like, what's their setup required?
I don't know. I think there was like someone who did a GoFundMe or Kickstarter to just get enough money to have potato salad at some point.
True, that did happen.
That did happen.
But also, it's been a few years of Kickstarter, so I don't know. They might want some more responsibility involved.
Yeah, as I said, there has been a bunch of flummoxing in Kickstarters and just write out scandals. Just write out
scandals, scams, and just failures.
Yeah, so I want, like as I said, before we get to the Kickstarter phase, I want to basically have as a foolproof plan of design and development as I can.
Well, and also, especially, I would say before you get to the production phase, you got to have pre-production and playtesting, right? Like, before you're gonna lock down and figure out how much money you need for all the artists and stuff, you need to actually know for sure what everything is.
Mm-hmm.
Which will be interesting how that's going to work, especially in this day and age. But we'll see. You still have a lot of work to do, I think, before playtesting, before alpha testing.
Yep. So right now, I'm not so much in the finer details, but I'm in the big points. And the big points is, like I said before, while the center, as I said, the game board is the middle octagon is the town, and you have fields around the town on your journey to the Demon King's castle. So, the two things that I have been working on recently is determining what kind of fields I want and how many monster girls that I want in them. And I've come up with just the 8 basic fields. So, I've decided that the Demon King's castle is going to be its own separate kind of octagon thing. Kind of like how the town is.
Well, not that I want to rain too much in your parade, Lucky, but have you actually looked at like functionally making an octagon map? Because I don't know if that'll actually work with 8 points of symmetry.
No, again, no.
That's gonna need some playtesting because I'm seeing some examples they have like square spacers.
No, can I draw a picture real quick here? Let me.
If you got what you got in mind, because I'm just like, and I'm not always good with geometry either, so it might just be me. But that's like you do occasionally need somebody to ask these questions, like how is this actually going to work, though?
Like, because here's the thing, I keep thinking I am explaining this badly. So let me see.
Well, I get the high level of what you're getting at, right? There's going to be an octagon in the center, and it's going to touch 8 areas. Are the 8 areas also octagons, or are that just so it's going to be like kind of a wheel spoke design?
Yes.
Okay.
It's a wheel spoke. Each of the wheel spoke thing is going to be that wedge is going to be a field. So you basically start from the town, you go to the first field, which on my notes is the plains. And then you start going clockwise or counterclockwise. First. Yep. You go counterclockwise or clockwise around until you get to the 8th one, which is the Demon Lands. And from the Demon Lands, if you do not retreat back to the town at that point, you then go to the Demon King's Castle, which is just going to be a octagon that you just, put to the fucking side, I guess.
Yeah, just slap it on the end.
Just slap it on the end. So, as I said, I came up with 8 field types. So, technically, the town is always first, but as I said, that's an octagon in the center. And then from the town, you go to the plains, then to the forest, to the caves, the dungeons, the mountains, the magma caves, the frostlands, demon lands, and then always last is the Demon King's Castle. Because that's one of those always things that you see in RPGs. It's all like, you're going to be you always go through a bunch of fucking crazy field types. Right. Even if it makes no goddamn sense.
You always start with the dumb plains, because, yeah, I know. Then there's got to be a forest. Like you said that, forest, right?
Yep, that's the second one.
And then mountains are almost always in there.
Mm-hmm.
And then usually there's some kind of obligatory underground segment I hate.
That's the caves.
And then there's fire. And then there's ice. And you've also got I don't even know how many I just said now. Was that 7? Did I miss something?
Demon Lands.
Yeah, I was about to say. Because then you've got your obligatory Mordor. Ooh, it's really spooky and dead here.
Yeah. So.
And I could see again, talking about stuff like alt tiles for expansions, like, maybe you swap out the forest for a swamp.
Yeah. Well, that's one of the things I want to do for maybe stretch goals is have additional expansion packs, have the deep sea pack.
But also, like I said, I think because you're talking about high level, this is a good idea to be like, no, it's definitely going to be 8 the first time with the opening and ending, basically.
Yes.
Like we talked about how Helltaker has a really compact design, right? This is basically the same thing.
Yeah. Because as I said, I don't want to overload the game from the start. Right. And that's some point. So I said I made a hero's journey. You start from the plains, you go into the forest. From the forest, you find a cave. Inside the cave, there's a dungeon. The dungeon comes out in the mountain. You go through the mountain. It takes you into the magma caves. The magma caves leads you to the frostlands. And once you get through the frostlands, you're in the demon lands. And the demon lands is the Demon King's Castle. There's a very specific reason why I did that order. I'm designing the game that if you want to be a absolute fucking Madland, you can just, switch the tiles around. And if you want, you can just, put the fucking magma caves in front and be all like, boom. Now you have to deal with this tier. Because the way I'm envisioning it is each tier of field is a tier in difficulty.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Because this is, as I said, this is the main reason why the heroes is having what I'm calling the escape maneuver. Basically, as the game starts off, you can stay in the town as long as you want. As I said, the town has a variety of activities for you to prepare for your journey. As I said, we have the item shop where you can buy items. The item system has not been touched yet at all.
That will probably definitely be a thing for playtesting. I remember, you're probably going to talk about it later, but I remember I saw you tweet about this where you were thinking about, you realized that the game could be played without any interference from other players at all.
Yeah. And so I had to come
up with some system ideas that came from that, yeah.
Yeah. So, but the town is going to have basically 4 actions you can do. 1, you can rest at the inn, recover health, because I do want to have a somewhat simplistic battle system. The basic thing I have right now is you basically have a weapon rating, which you modify with gear that you will find. If your weapon rating beats the health rating on a monster, you defeat it, but you'll take just, so much health damage, just, auto defeat a fucking monster. I don't know. I'm still finding out. So, and there will be items that, you'll have healing potions and whatnot, and I am 100% having a fucking healing slime, be a plains monster. It's just all you just find this cute slime that when you're in its area, you just feel better about life, and it heals you. That's gonna be a thing. I've decided it. No one can change my mind. I fucking love slimes. But
and then in the Demon Lands, you can run into the Slime Queen.
Well, that's actually, I'm gonna actually talk about that in a minute.
You have ideas for like higher tier.
Yeah,
that one that's a very classic like Final Fantasy ass JRPG thing where like you run into a recolor like 5 dungeons later who's suddenly a boss.
Yeah. But so in the town, as I said, we have the item shop where you can buy items for gold. You have the inn where you can recover health for gold. You have the guild where you can just work to get gold. And then we have the club where you can work on characters' stats for gold. Like specifically the attractiveness rating and the denseness rating. Ooh, excuse me. As I said, again, the attractiveness and density rating system is something that I really like because I think it literally encapsulates everything about harem protagonists. They're usually stupid attractive for some odd reason and, various levels of dense. I'm like, no, this is good. This is good. We're going to use this.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and honestly, thinking about it, it's funny. You started this design obviously before Helltaker, I think, actually came out, or at least definitely before it blew up. But I think it was a couple weeks before it came out. But seeing how that game came out, and I mean, I don't think I hear anybody yelling about it. That kind of sets the standard of like, you can call it a harem, but if you don't mean it to be that way, it doesn't have to be that way. You could just be hanging out with ladies you think are cool, you know, and maybe you're a doofus.
Well, as I said, like, again, the mechanic is that if you want to commit a harem girl to your actual harem, you have to lower your denseness enough to proc the event. Because I know it seems a little weird, but I still like the idea of you can't take monster girls in your hand to the Demon King Castle. You have to basically build a stable in order to challenge the Demon King. Because, again, like, I'm kind of going for this Call of Cthulhu-esque effect of it's going to be a long game. You're not like things aren't going to be. You aren't going to get like the wombo combo in your first run and just go up and body the Demon King in one go. It's going to take multiple trips, sometimes with maybe multiple.
We're talking about we've talked before about how like Dark Souls is iterative. Like it's that kind of thing where like you're not going to build your perfect setup in one go, so you have to plan it.
Yeah. And
no, I don't think so, Tyranno King. I think if you actually go to the dungeon and fight the final boss in D&D and you lose, you're all dead. Your game master doesn't actually want that to happen unless they hate you.
Yeah. So,
this will be more like a classic JRPG or something where like, oh no, you've lost, roll back to the checkpoint, or you pass out and return to the inn kind of thing.
Yep.
So is there going to be a handy NPC who drags you back to the inn after you pass out and charges you too much money?
Yeah. Probably. And I'll probably have a monster girl who can like negate that fact of like maybe who knows, maybe the harpy has a like escape or something and you can just either escape for free or something. I don't know. Monster girl abilities is another thing that I'm thinking about because as I said, each field is that there's going to be 8 fields. And right now, I have the number at... Let's see, let me check my notes here.
I believe you said 80 earlier, so 10 per field, I believe.
Yeah, 10 per field. Because I'm doing this the most simple way is, there's going to be 4 common monsters, 3 rare monsters, 2 super rare monsters, and then 1 ultra rare monster per type.
Ultra rare. And if we make shitloads of money, we can make it so they actually get foil print. That actually sounds like a stretch goal.
That sounds like a stretch goal. But, and as I said, I'm fluffing it out that there will be 4 types of each common card, 3 types of each rare card, 2 types of each, super rare card, and only 1 ultra rare. The ultra rare cards
How does that math work out? There's
30.
4 4s?
There's 4 4s, 3 3s, 2 2s, 1 1.
Alright, and so that's 40?
That's,
30? What did you say?
30, yes.
Yeah, 30, yes. That's good.
So
and
that's
so you'd have the board, you'd have your tiles in the middle, you'd have a space for the decks, and you'd shuffle the deck, and then...
Yeah.
So I'll ask you, a clarifying question. So what's your idea for advancement to next zone? Is it like, when you go to the zone, you slap the tile into the slot, and then you're there, and then it's like... And then I believe you said this last time, actually, you automatically have at least 1 encounter there, right?
You have 1 encounter there, so you draw from the deck. Because the field deck is what I'm calling it right now, is not just, monster girls. There will be what I'm calling events.
No, that makes good.
Events, event decks, and events. And events are going to be like just things happen. Like either you like find a thing to get treasure.
Attack of the killer cabbage. Run away unless your attack is better.
Yeah. stuff like that.
Actually, that is a good question. Like, for purpose of aesthetics, are there non-Monster Girl mobs in this world? Like, in addition to, like, that might be a thing to, like, maybe that's some of your generic events. Like, you can't, if you run into, I don't know, like a demon boar, you can't recruit it, because it's not a demon boar monster girl, but you might have to fight it or lose health or something.
That is
and then,
something.
you can do...
That sounds like a hazard event.
Yeah, when you and like you said, when you work out items, you can maybe hide, like, special treasures as items, in events. Like, you just find a fucking healing potion on the ground, because that happens for some reason.
Mm-hmm. And so, yeah, there's going to be basically event cards where, good things will happen, bad things will happen. And I said, one of the things I'm thinking about is setting up what did I call it? Boons and, I don't know. I can't remember what I called it, but boons and curses are basically things that you can leave on the field for the next player that you come to encounter. So either you can do something that helps the next player that comes along or something that hinders it. Because, again, this game is supposed to be, something that you play like 2 to 4 people with.
Mm-hmm. Because if you happen to, I believe you said last time, if you happen to all be at the Demon King's palace at the castle at the same time, you can attempt to, like, team up.
Yeah, you can assist, but I said, because I basically want a cooperative competition.
You're all trying to be the guy who wins, but nobody is that asshole who's like, well, I hope the Demon King beats you up, right? Yeah. Because that's called being a jerk, guys.
Mm-hmm.
So again, not to distract from your flow too much, but I did just have a thought because you talked about decks and you're not sure about the items. So, what you could do it where there's like an item deck, then where
that's what
the
I'm
shop
thinking,
could be like a little card and be like, okay, here's what the shop's got today.
Yeah, well, I guess that's what I'm pretty sure I'm thinking is it's going to be an item card deck, and the item shop is. I think I'm going to assign rarities to certain cards.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, if you go to the shop, like when you go to like. Let's say you go to the tier 2 field, it's all like, and you get like a treasure, it's like pull from the treasure deck until you get a tier 2 item. Or you can pick up to 2 tier 1 items.
Obviously, the tiers should be stars.
Yes, they probably should be stars. So, and then, I just gotta figure out things, and this will go all the way up probably like to tier 8 and whatnot. And of course, there'll be like special named items that you can do from getting like beating specific bosses or, other things.
This could be an interesting mechanic. There could be unique items, which you could either do as literally unique, or you could do that so that only one of you can have them at a time with a dot, but you might also just print them as literally there's only one Excalibur in the item deck.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm kind of figuring, because as I said, one of the things is the ultra rare monsters I'm thinking are going to be the quote unquote unique monsters, the named monsters. So, like, for example, when you get to the fucking, mountains, there here be dragons, and I'm pretty sure that the ultra rare fucking monster there is going to be Tiamat, Mother of Dragons, and I'm gonna have, I was like, all right, artist, I'm gonna need maximum Dragon Mom energy on this heart, maximum. Then I'm gonna send a message later, like maximumer.
Notes, more mama. Okay.
And they'll have special effects, specifically like. Because I said I am going to do the thing. I'm definitely going to do the thing where there's types, and they're going to just be spread out throughout different fields. And like, what I want to do is, if you have the unique Mama/Queen type monster or whatever, their ability is affected by how many of their type that you have, either in your harem or in your hand.
Now that works. So, like, when you get to let's say in the cave, you'd probably have like Arachne or something, Spider Lady, and then either in the cave or the mountain or whatever, the big one is like the Spider Queen, possibly with revenge, who would be the boss of all the spiders. And obviously that would be a tough catch, as it were, but would have rewards, like you said. Are you thinking they'd only... Well, okay, this would be playtesting stuff. You said you're not 100% sure, so I'm just spitballing here. No need for hard and fast answers for the audience, but are you thinking like there would definitely, because you never know, maybe that's your first encounter is you get the Spider Queen and you're like, well, I don't have any spiders. Will there be like a basic ability and it will scale with more, or is it like it does something and then if you have multiple types, it does something different,
I'm thinking scaling.
Okay. So like even if you don't have more bug types or whatever, your Spider Queen still does good stuff, but if you have a couple extra spiders around, you can do extra stuff.
Yeah.
Which I'm just imagining is probably somehow silk related or something.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously if you do types, then you can do fun stuff with equipment, like you can get a dragon slaying sword that means your combat potential is increased against dragons, but not against others. It's just a normal sword otherwise.
Clang. Yeah, I said, now the only thing I'm worrying about like right now is how big do I want these fucking card decks to be? Because already 30 cards are just Monster Girls. Do I want to like, just double that in event cards and make it a big 60? 60 is a lot of cards, y'all. Especially if it's going to be, let's see here. We're going to have 60 per field. So that's, let's see, what's 8 times 60?
Yeah, it's a very big box. 45 seems like a good number. I was thinking 40, but then that would be 30 Monster Girls and 15 events. That's half again. Do you think that would work? Because then you could go as high as like 3 of each event type, or you could, scale it sub in there, so long as it's divisible by 3.
Yeah, that might be good. As I said, I think it might be a little lean on the events. It'd be mostly, you'd be mostly encountering Monster Girls, but again, I think that might be the point.
Well, yeah, I feel like the point of the game is to collect them. The event is more of like, and here's a special thing, like, oh, you didn't get a chance to get a girl, but like, something funny happens, or something moves, or whatever.
Yeah.
And like I said, there'll be, long before this gets to us concerning the logistics of printing, there will have to be some kind of playtesting of like, okay, let's sketch out some decks and let's try some effects, and then if you test it a few times, you'll actually learn that like, oh yeah, maybe this, this event where like there's an avalanche or something in the snow zone and then you skip your turn. Well, that's never ever fun when that happens, so we just won't do that, even though that, that obviously sounds like an idea to start with, like a blizzard or something. Or, who knows.
Yeah. So, but still, I like my number of Monster Girls, but Lucky still needs to come up with like 80 Monster Girls and like on specific variants.
Well, and that's the big blob of work is like you say, the work, the game design. So I assume you're going to you're going to sketch out you're going to like look for the actual list of Monster Girls, and then it's going to be like, okay, now let's like organize some loose types and then figure out what they do kind of stuff, right? You're going to build your list first.
Yeah, so I'm definitely thinking of having some expansions later down the line, because I definitely want to have the as I like to call Eastern Islands, where the hecking unique monster will be Tamamo no Mai, for reasons. Because what kind of Monster Girl game doesn't have, giant fox ladies? Clearly. But when that comes out, I also want to do kind of the deep sea set as well.
Yeah, and I think depending on the practical effects, like you can slide the scale of how much an expansion is. Like an expansion could be as little as like, say the base game is like $60 or whatever. Omega hasn't actually looked at board game prices in little. He has no fucking idea. Do not quote me on this.
They are that expensive though.
They are though. That's definitely a thing. I have some other fun stuff to talk about, which is why 60 I think popped as the point in my mind. But anyway, then it could be like, oh, well, buying a single new tile and a new Monster Girl deck, like basically buying a new field and a field deck, that could be like $10 or $15. Or it could be like, okay, and here's an expansion that's it doesn't have core game pieces, but it has like 8 new tile sets and it's about half the price, right?
Yeah.
Like that would depend, and that depends on the scaling and how frequently, Obviously, you probably, especially if your game is good and liked, you want to project for stuff, so you can come back with expansions for people who enjoy it later. But that's like figuring out the exact mechanics of that is way later. And I think you've done a good thing, because that's always the thing you hear in game design, where you're like, you want to avoid feature creep, you want to stay within your lane and figure out what your core features are, do those, and then leave room open to expansion, which you've done. Yeah. You've basically set yourself a hard cap. No, there's only going to be 8 to start. And if I come up with more ideas later, I can expand.
Yeah. So.
Well, I'm assuming. So this is actually a good question to ask. I'm kind of assuming. So, like, if there's a unique, especially if it is like you said, literally, there's only one copy of the rare, the ultra rare, unique in the deck. That's like, okay, well then, once one guy pulls it, it's done. You can't ever get that one back. There's only one of her around.
Mm-hmm.
So I believe that's what he's going for, Axe. Like, so if Jimmy gets to the mountains and he pulls the Dragon Queen, or specifically Tiamat, the Dragon Queen, or possibly Tiamat, title box under that, the Dragon Queen. We don't know yet. Formatting. That's it. There's no more Tiamat, the Dragon Queen in the game.
Nope.
Unless he lets her go and puts her back, I assume. Or when you... Actually, that's a good question. So when you, quote-unquote, use a monster girl from your hand, you're not keeping her. Does she go back in the field deck, or is there a discard?
Nope, she goes back in the field deck. She goes back home.
That's good. So replenishment. That also limits the amount... That means your cards won't thin too much, depending on people.
And as I said, if you go to the Demon King Castle with monster girls in your hand, they're like, fuck this. That's the Demon King. We out. Mm-hmm. We go home now. That's why you have to...
Yeah, that's the cost to enter the Demon King Castle is discard your hand.
Yes. And then you have to do battle with your equipment and your harem. Mm-hmm. But as I said, the Demon King, again... I'm
imagining player characters will probably have a little cardboard board that's got like some little... Either areas on it or like kind of like what Red Dragon Inn does where there's like a named zone.
Yeah, like that's one of those things I'm wondering about if I want to make unique hero types.
Yeah, we talked about that last time when you first pitched this idea, whether or not you can do like custom stats or whatever. Like, for purposes of player and player investment, definitely like at least having like the different colors. Like say there's like 6 different colors, and then like each of the different colors has a little different art on their character card and maybe a name. I don't know. Mm-hmm. That sounds much like what in my mind is the chaos rule of just, like flip the tiles upside down and shuffle them. What comes out, that sounds like maybe an advanced rule to do them like special. I don't know. Mm-hmm. Or that could be an expansion thing where it's like, and now we've expanded with like not just generic heroes, but actually like people with different characters and preferences, Yeah. Like, that sounds like definitely an advanced state of play where you have different heroes who do different things. But maybe during playtesting, we'll find out that, like, having all players literally be the same doesn't work for whatever reason. You don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. That's playtesting. But as I said, I'm definitely on board with having different Demon King types, because I'm playing this for tropes. I really am playing this for tropes.
Mm-hmm. Well, and also thinking about that helps, that immediately helps replayability, right? Yeah. Like, say you get done early and it only takes you like an hour or 2 to get done with one round of the game, and then you're like, okay, let's do a second. Well, then let's just do a different Demon King, We'll do a different boss at the end, so we do different things.
Yeah. I said, right now there are 5 Demon King types. I'll read them out again. So we have the Amazon Demon King. The description is kind of a meathead, but simple. Also abs. Just saying. Cliche Demon King. Don't knock it. She has a rather big following of fans. CEO Demon King. Business in her game, as she plays to win. Looks real good in a suit. Lolly Demon King. No matter which way you win, people are going to look at you funny and whisper behind their backs. And Motherly Demon King. Ara danger. Beware the dote attack. And, I don't know.
Like I said that like 6 colors. Because you're imagining this to like 4 to 6 players, or 2 to 4?
Yeah. 2 to 4.
2 to 4, okay. 5 is good. Maybe 6 would be good. I don't know. I'm thinking about round numbers in my head. You've done a lot of stuff that's divisible by 3, but then there's 8. I'm thinking. You could stop at 5, or we could try and come up with a 6th.
Well, as I said, like...
solid base list, though.
Yeah, as I said, like, honestly, like, if someone gives me a fucking, idea, I'll just put it in there. Because, honestly, just coming up with more Demon King types is not going to be much of a detriment to the game. It's just coming up with their unique abilities. Like, the Amazon Demon King is going to be a fighter. There's going to be health. It's going to, like, smack you pretty hard. The Cliche Demon King is going to just be average across the board, but that means it's not going to have anything specific. The CEO Demon King is probably going to, like, inflict damage on your finances and whatnot. Lolly Demon King is, well, going to be very, very weak, but will have, like, abilities to charm you and not make you want to fight. And, like, the Motherly Demon King is gonna... I'm not sure. I just want a fucking big titty Demon King. Okay? I'll think of something.
You could go with, like, the Mother of Monsters kind of look that, like, literally she's the creator of a lot of these monster girls, so she can get, like, allies or something, Yeah. Kind of go with, like, maybe you don't fight her directly, but you fight her minions kind of thing.
Also, remember, there are not actually slay options. You do not kill demon girls, you just boop them on the snoot.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm assuming that that kind of, like, that stuff depends on what you do when you get there. Like Lucky said, if you want to face the Amazon Demon King, she's going to be like, even if you're going to romance her, you'd have to feed her in a constant of strength, obviously. Mm-hmm. Obviously. So some of them I think will just have, like, special... Probably there'll be like a little standalone card or whatever that'll have all their, like, special rules or whatever.
Yeah, no, that's the plan. Like, how, like, Call of Cthulhu has... Not Call of Cthulhu, Arkham Horror how they have their separate card for their Cosmic Horror with their Doom track.
Yes. And lots of games do that too.
Yeah. So, like...
that'll display her combat strength, her whatever.
Yeah, and honestly, I think what I want to do it is that you start the game with your if you want to do it randomly, you just start with it face down, and no one knows what the Demon King is until you actually get there and flip it. Mm-hmm. He was like, surprise! It was the lolly! How do you feel now coming in all your armor? And you're just like, nah!
With the subtitle, don't worry, she's 10,000 years old.
Mm-hmm. Yes, clearly.
I feel like I don't know for sure, but because that might be more design. But if we can pull it off, definitely a little bit of like flavor text or quotes for each card, at least especially for each Demon King would be funny.
Like, because that's one of those things I definitely want. I like having flavor text and funny things to read. Is just I got to see like how much information, because the Monster Girls need to have their card ability, mm-hmm. which would basically what they do when they get in your hand. I would like them to have flavor text, but they also need to have their health and attack. And
and some of that will be... Omega is a man who has studied many board and card miniature games, so...
I have some ideas for it, but...
Yeah, I think if we put our heads together and we get some consulting on this, we can probably figure out, okay, what's the most compact way to relate this information? Because, health could just be a little heart icon with a number in a corner, right?
Yeah, same with their attack.
Mm-hmm. A little sword.
Mm-hmm. And then you'd have their art. Then you have the flavor text underneath the art. And then you'd have, we'll do like FGO and we'll put their rarity, mm-hmm. and some stars at the top.
Yeah.
And then,
and if you have like types and stuff, you can probably find a way to do that with just little icons, right? Like mm-hmm. dragon, get a little dragon head, that kind of thing. If that's actually how that works out or not. Again, playtesting.
That's what I'm planning on. But as I said, like I have
colors
to
also go. Work.
Yeah. So. Again, so it's going to be a lot of information in these cards. But as I said, these cards are going to be, like usual, because I said, you're going to commit your Monster Girl to your thing, and they're going to contribute to your attack. Because that's one of the things that you can, like I said, Monster Girls will have their own attack rating, and if you want to use them in combat with, like, another Monster Girl, you can be all like, alright, but I'm going to add my fucking Harpy, who has an attack of 3, to my attack of 2, so I can beat this, this Minotaur girl who starts with an attack of like 5.
So, yeah, I'm kind of. Let's talk about some of that a little combat. So you have health, obviously.
Yes.
Is the intent with every encounter that the player's health goes down, or is it only if you lose does your health go down? Are you thinking kind of like? So I'm imagining like, okay, let's say I go to the field, I pull a card. She has a health and she has an attack. Do we just compare like attack and health ratings and be like, okay, I do 3, she does 1. She has less than 3 health. I have booped her snoot and recruited her, but I take 1 unless I have like an armor ability that reduces that or something. Like,
yeah.
You thinking it's something like that where there's going to be a trade?
Actually, the more I think about it, I'm not sure, because I want there to be a difference between beating them with force and romancing them. Now I'm like thinking about it, like, actually, this seems like it's getting a little more complicated than I wanted to.
Well, I'm thinking there should definitely be some kind of like per turn or encounter like action or cost, right? So like,
yeah,
okay, you go to a tile, you flip it up, you get the answer, and then your turn is probably over, just so we can move play. Like I don't necessarily know if we want somebody to just keep drawing from that field deck over and over again, right?
No, it's one movement to the next field. And here's the thing. The way I specify it is once you start the hero's journey, you cannot stop.
No.
You come from the town, you go to the field, you do one event there. Next turn, you have to go to the forest and do an event there. And if once things get too hard for you, that's when you pop your escape, you go back to town, and you start again. And you keep doing that as you progress further and further throughout the board until you get to the Demon King's castle.
So do you actually no, because you guys went a sense. Maybe you don't discard your hand if you return to base. Or maybe you do. Who knows? There should definitely be a cost. Like obviously there should be an item that's just like I'm gonna go -1 and I'm gonna go back. Or like that could be like you said, like a harpy maybe has that ability, like a flying.
Yeah,
like who knows? Maybe it works out that some monster girls have generic abilities in addition to special ones, right? Like maybe there are multiple flying monster girls and all of them have the flying tag where you're just like, all right, I'm gonna use this card. I'm just gonna go back home for free.
Mm-hmm.
That'll work on all that stuff.
Maybe it's be like if you have to pull an escape, you go without your monster girls. But if you have like a special ability or a special monster girl who like flying, you can
like
take
if you
your
have
hand with
magic rope. Returns you to the village. We don't know why that works. Well, yeah, Harpy. We'd have to come up with.
So actually, now I think about it, I have a very idea, but yeah, now I have to think on how do I.
Well, honestly, I feel like you could do heart rating as just hearts, and then it's how do you get them? Do you try and use your force to overcome their hearts, or do you try and get into their heart? You know what I'm saying? You could do it that way.
That is actually I like that. Yes.
Because the heart's an interesting symbol. We use it both for life, but also for romance. So you can kind of like double up on that and just be like, no, listen, the girl just has a heart rating. That's how many hearts it takes. Whether it's
attractiveness or force.
Yeah, whether it's you're just bonking them or actually like trying to recruit them. Because obviously these are wild monster girls. They're probably going to try and like eat you or steal your stuff or whatever while you try and be like, hey baby, come back to my place. I got pancakes. Pancakes should definitely be an item now, Lucky.
Yes, pancakes are going to be an item. You get temporarily plus like 2 affect attractiveness or something.
Yeah,
I might make it like
your rating.
I'm honestly probably going to have to put in the inspirations. I'm probably going to put Helltaker for CEO, Demon Queen, and Pancake cards. Go play that. I'm going to do that. I'll reference it.
Well, that's always a fun thing when you deliberately call out your references, right? Which a lot of works are doing. Like there's a little like special things or influences too. Oh, that could be a funny. That could be a funny. That's a funny flavor text quote. They're actually crepes, but who cares? Because that is the funny thing about they are made with pancakes, but the quote unquote pancake recipe of Helltaker is closer to crepes.
Yep. Oh, I've already retweeted that. Not safe for work, Kerberos. Let me see here. Like he's on Twitter real quick as he looks at things.
No, it happens. That's a funny one. I'll retweet that one. It's an interesting little note.
So yeah, I think I like that. And honestly, that also simplifies things a little bit because instead of having to think of a number to beat for both health and for affection, it's just one.
Yeah, you just each unit has a static difficulty, and then it's just what are you better at? Because some people, like we said, will be Johnny McHero and be like, "Yo, I've got the armor of the Titan, and I've got the dragon sword, and I've got the mirror shield," you know. And then other guys are gonna be like, listen, dog, I just got I've got jewelry and a magical music box, and I've got some juice that is definitely not a bottle of wine. Again, while obviously I'm certain there will be some spicy art, I don't know exactly how marketing will work, so whether or not it's like, are we allowed to condone alcohol use? I don't know.
Like I said, like I definitely want to build this game as something that's kind of tongue-in-cheek for the harem protagonist, the harem genre.
But theoretically, yeah, I think you might be able to get away with, like, maybe like, a recommended age of, like, 13 and up. I don't know. But, like I said, you could just... And that's another discussion for a different time about people. Like if we're not allowed to reference alcohol, it can just be grape juice, and it totally looks like wine.
And we just say, we don't know why, but there's some monster girls who really, really like this juice, or something.
And then it's just like, and then if we can just be like, bottle of wine, you know, bottle of red wine. Perfect for a romantic evening, you know? Coffee should totally be an item. We could even do it funny. You could do like potion of energy. It's just a fucking Starbucks cup.
Mm-hmm.
This mystical potion fights tiredness.
Mm-hmm. Honestly, like I might like... Honestly, if you got the item magical coffee, it might be the effect of you can make one more additional move your turn or something.
Yeah, something. And honestly, that has a cost, too, because like we're saying, if you move a zone, you flip a card, who knows what happens. Yep. So, you're allowed to, again, about movement, so you can't go back, but you're allowed to, I assume, stay or move up, right?
I think what I want is for people to move up, because if people stay, I know people will just literally stay and keep hitting that deck until they got the ultra rare card, or something.
I guess. I suppose there's, maybe there's like a rating or something that you can only do it so many times before you have to move on or something. I don't know.
I can see that, like,
because like on the one hand, I get where you're coming from because you're right. Some people will just try and farm, but at the same time, it's like, but okay, then how do you build resources? Because like, what happens if you just get weird events or something all the way to your castle? Like, obviously, you can wipe and start over, but then you have to like ditch your hand and stuff. So if the game is about prep, you have to have an opportunity to prep a little bit.
I said, I'm thinking right now is that if you push the escape button, you lose half your hand, and you get to choose what stays and what leaves.
Okay.
Because as I said, like again, I want the iterative experience, and I don't want people to just stay in one spot and stuff. Like, that's what the town is for. That is literally what the town is.
Right, the town
for.
is where you quote-unquote grind in town.
Yeah. Yes. Because, as I said, that's where you can work on your stats, recover health, gain gold, get items.
And like if you get to like if you somehow blitz ahead and get lucky and go to the magma zone and then you fight the lava golem and you're just like, oh wow, she was literally made of fire. She really kicked my ass. You go all the way back down. Loth has nothing to add to this conversation other than occasionally recording us with the phrasing emote. Thanks, buddy.
But like I said, like and this is the reason, and because this is the reason why I want the tier. Like, when you go to the plains, like, the things should be easy. You should be able to beat things with your basic standard.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. There's plenty of low level mobs. Like,
yeah, plenty of low level mobs.
Goblin Girl, Slime Girl, like you said, because slimes are low level trash mobs.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that could be an expansion thing, like in the town. I don't know if we really want to go for like, because on the other hand, that could be like, non-monster girls are cute too. Like I said, you could maybe recruit like helpers, but I don't know. Like, is there a hand limit size?
Yes, your hand limit size is going to be
that's right,
based on your denseness. Because your hand is going to be nothing but monster girls. Your equipment is something that you're just going to place on your
Well, like, so I think what Axe is getting at is like, in town, could you like pull like and go like, oh, you spend some money, you hire like Sword Girl. She's not a monster, but she stabs real good. Like, or is the intent to get out and collect?
The intent is to get out and collect. Like I said, the game is literally...
Like I said, I feel like, just for sake of, like, art and aesthetics, like, the different zones should have a little mascot who is also a cute lady. But I don't think... I kind of agree with you. By default, they should not be, like, recruitable as such. That could be, like I said, another fun expansion idea. Oh, we're going to flesh out the town, and now you can add a new card type that does blah, blah, blah. But for now, I think narrow focus. Actually, thinking about this, like... crazy. Axe has this problem, I think, where he's like, he goes way too big brain all the time. Rushes to the conclusion, right?
Yeah.
But we're talking about
like
practical game design, like, no, we need to narrow this focus, and then we can expand later.
Yeah, like doing quests or like fulfilling special conditions, that's way too complicated. And as this is a game that relies a lot on RNG.
Right.
You don't want to do quests.
You're not gonna like I don't think you're gonna like pick up an event card and be like, oh, you're gonna keep this card around and do this stuff. Like, no. That's why, like you said, literally, when you work at the guild, you just assumed to do that, right?
Yes.
You go into the sewers and beat up rats and get coin.
Yes.
Rat Girl's another low level mob idea. That's a good one.
But so yes, like. Because, like I said, I have played around with the idea of maybe there being some sort of quest or mission system in there, but it's like, that is, for a game that where it relies on card draws, that may be a little...
Yeah, I was just thinking, like, on the one hand, yes, it seems very thematic to be like, oh, get a bounty hunt for a blah, blah, blah character, but then there's like, okay, but then how do you guarantee you get the card, right? Like, It would have to be like, I think almost like Axe said, like, doing expansion, that would be like I think werewolf should be in the forest, duh.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But, like, that sounds like an expansion where, like, either that's a new area or a new thing you can do where you get a bounty card and then you have to go to that area and fight that bounty and you get an extra reward or something. Like, I think, like, that's the kind of thing where you're, like, you pick a card up in town, much like you pick up an item and you're like, okay, when you get to this zone, instead of, like, drawing a card, you can play the card and then fight the bounty. But, again, that sounds like a
Well, honestly, thing. I'm not really thinking about bounties. I'm thinking maybe more like challenges. It's all like, you get a challenge. It's like, make it to the magma zone, and make it to the magma zone, get a gold.
That's a good one, yeah.
Or something like that, but...
That's a simpler version of what I'm talking about. I think that could be a core game mechanic of, like, a challenge.
Yeah.
Get to the X zone in so many turns.
Yeah, it's like, seduce, like, beat so many monster girls in combat. Seduce so many monster girls. Things like
recruit one monster girl of the X type. It's not like you have to fight a specific boss monster, but just... get a type
like,
of
I think,
monster.
Because I think, like, again, like something like this, you want it broad so that you can have, like, better chances of accomplishing it. The more specific it is, the harder it is to accomplish.
Yeah, so, like, obviously, sure, in some of these adventures, like, oh, you fight the Medusa, you need the mirror shield to beat her. Like, nah, that's not good. But if there's not that you shouldn't necessarily include a mirror shield just because that's funny, but, there's also, I think, then there's the, like, idea of, like, well, that's different than, say, like, a sword that is just called Dragon Slayer, because we're gonna have multiple girls who are dragons, right?
Yes.
So you can get and it still does something by default, but it has a conditional bonus. But actually, like, yeah, sure, maybe like in Myth, some boss monsters might have specific weaknesses or whatever, but that's not really helpful, you know, right? Because then it's like, oh, you're gonna go farm for an ultra rare. Well, whenever you got it, then it was useless to you, and it just overcomplicates things. Like, you're right. Like, at its heart, this is a game that can be literally played back to front completely random if you choose. That's not necessarily like I'm sure in the little instruction booklet they'll be like, okay, here's your piloted game example. You all pick your players. You don't have any special powers. You deal the stuff. You will reveal the tiles in this order. At the end is generic Demon King.
Yes.
And that is your basic play. And then the advanced rule is like, all right, now if you want to, like I said in my mind, what I'm calling chaos mode, shuffle the tiles, put them in a stack, flip over a tile randomly, shuffle the Demon Kings, flip it, place it face down. You don't get to find out who it is until you get to their castle, kind of thing. Like, that's full rando mode. So having design games with random elements or stuff, you do want to be careful about what the player can control and whatnot, because that is a thing I know for a fact the player base will try to minimize that randomness whenever they can. So either you need to make it so that they can minimize the randomness, right? Or you need to be like, fuck you, no, you don't get out of this. It has to be random.
Yeah.
And things that you don't want to be random need to not be random. Like you're saying that the challenge is like they have to be generic. Yeah. So yeah, that was my game design thoughts. Go on.
Yeah. So like I said, Lucky is still thinking long and hard on this. He's like writing down. It's only at like 2 pages right now. Like I said, but as I said, it's growing. It's growing. I should probably actually write down about the attraction and health being the same. But so yeah, I'm thinking about, like I said, there's gonna be equipment. I'm thinking literally, the hero will be able to have 3 levels of equipment. It's going to be, you get your weapon, you get your shield, and you get your armor.
So again, on your little card, you've got like body, hand.
Yeah, and okay, actually no, I remember earlier I said that your hand will just be made of monster girls. No, I should actually say that it should also have consumable items in it too, like your healing potions and your
smoke bomb,
stuff like
that.
That.
Funny one. Smoke bomb. When you draw an encounter, you can discard this card, put that card back, shuffle, pick another encounter.
Yes.
Smoke bomb's not long lasting enough for you to run all the way back to town, but it can be like, oh, I don't want to fight that monster.
Yeah,
that could be funny.
And so, consumable objects will also be in your hand. And you'll probably not lose consumable objects on your flight back. You only have to discard half your monster girls. Because some would be all like, this loser, he lost, we out. But other one's all like, but he's so precious. Oh yes, Axe, that is definitely something. For example, I said, there will be certain things like, that will let you like I said, event cards, it's like you encounter a thing. If you can beat the requirements, you just get an item. And actually, no. What I'm gonna do is I know what I'm gonna do. Excuse me. It's gonna be hand, body, accessory. That's what it's gonna be. An accessory is just gonna be all the weird little, like, necklaces, circlets, helmets, trinkets, something like that. So it'll be 4 slots. And then I said I'll make some basic ass weapons for like everything, and then as you get up higher in rarity, you're gonna get weird things, and I don't know. You just like the idea of event card that lets you draw a specific monster girl or charm, right? I mean, there are going to be events of like when you're really on this Yukiona.
Yeah. Again, we're talking about Axe. It's just Axe things. TM. He has an example. He won't stop. Even though we've given several examples.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, like, I don't know. Like, it could be like, so you go to the forest. Here's another one. You pull an event card, which is like Elven Village. That could be a thing where it's like, if you have an elf, you can heal. If not, draw until you fight an elf.
Mm-hmm.
That could be like an interesting, because that's got kind of a double-sided condition. If you've already recruited an elf to your team, or even if she's just in your hand, you can be like, the elves think you're cool. You can go heal up here. But if not, now you must fight an elf.
Mm-hmm. And who knows? Maybe then you can get an elf in your team. Ta-da! Yeah, but as I said, so again, like, I have to, the other thing, like I said, the separation is, with fighting and seducing is, seducing will bring them to your hand, fighting will get you either gold or an item. Because I said, there's no killing. There's no killing in this game. None.
And that could be like, that could another be like another little, like, just icon on there. Is like, okay, if you beat them, you get X treasure.
Yes. Like, you get, like, one, it'll have, like, 1 chest or, like, 3 gold coin or something on it.
Mm-hmm. And then obviously you have this, like you said, you can decide whether or not you're going to just, skedaddle your way to the Demon King's castle and then be like, I'm going home. And then I'm gonna buy up some stuff and start again.
Yeah. Like I said, I want this gameplay loop. Like, I've talked to people, and let's say a lot of people think it sounds really good. I've heard some people have concerns that they are worried that the game will take too long, and unfortunately, this is one of those lucky things. I like long games. I really do like.
No,
long games.
and again, that's the thing that like through playtesting you can kind of figure out what what your good gameplay time is, what your good gameplay loop is, and obviously then you can do like that's another perfect thing for like little advice or setup in the booklet, just how to power through it faster.
Mm.
And like honestly, and then like the stuff, you said like with grinding and whatnot, that can obviously help the game go faster or slower depending on what works for everybody.
And so I think the big thing that I'm thinking out right now is aside from Monster Girl types, is player versus player interaction. I want to say
right, and I think I agree with your core point. Like you said, you want it to be competitive co-op. So other than just we happen to have all advanced to the Demon King's castle in the same turn, which actually now that I'm thinking about the movement system, how does that work even?
Well, it all depends on like it's quite simple. Basically, everyone just says in whatever field they are that they all go back to the town, and then they would all basically move as one, as a power. Because remember, the goal is the intent is every player moves once per turn through a field.
Right, but I'm just thinking. So if you're player one and you've been moving all along and you're at the castle and like sure everybody else is in Demon Land with you. Like, if you make a choice to move to the castle, then does everybody get to follow you, or what? Like, when you flip over the castle tile, do you have to, like, ask to see who else is in, or, because I'm just thinking about, like we said, the idea before was kind of like, move, pull a card, do a thing, and then it's the next player's turn, because obviously you want to keep that cycle going faster. How do you, like, get other people to join in?
I haven't fully thought on that, but honestly, I would like to probably have to say that you have to go on the hero's journey together. You have to decide from the town if you're going to go together or not. And as I said, that could add interesting complications because basically as each player moves to the side, they'll each have their thing, and who knows, maybe they'll get beat up more by monster than you did, and they'll have to decide to whether or go back or not. So this is what I mean by player versus player interactions. I need to come up with more ways for players to help each other, or for players to hinder each other.
Well, that definitely sounds like that could be a thing on certain Monster Girl effects.
Yeah.
Like if you have for example, a sneaky, I don't know who the dick-ass thief of the Monster Girl world is, but like that could be a thing where like...
Goblin.
Sure, you discard Goblin Girl, she goes and steals you another player's item, and I assume you do it has to be in the same field as you, obviously, because you can't fucking teleport. Nope. And you could just, randomly shenanigans one of their consumables or something, I don't know.
Yeah.
But then she's gone.
Like, because basically what I'm thinking is because everyone will move. So, like, for example, if everyone starts off with the town at the same time, technically, as long as they don't do some weird shenanigans that lets them double move or they get kicked back to the town again, they'll all advance at the same rate. At the end of the round, everyone will be on the same tile. So, that technically means that once they get to the Demon King, the first player will basically enter the Demon King, they'll do theirs, and then the second person will come into the Demon King and do whatever they're doing. Third person doing that, and fourth person will come in, do that. So technically they all are at that. But at that point, if they haven't beat the Demon King, they all get shuffled back to town. If that makes sense. Does it? I don't know. Fuck. I gotta write things down. Player versus player interactions, or player with player interactions.
Right, because well, on the one hand, obviously, and even now, though, probably by the time this gets off the ground, this problem will pass, but thinking about solo play is fine, but also, like you said, it is good, and it makes sense for these types of games to have the different parties, like, interact with each other. Like, you can have steadfast allies and friends, or you can have, rivalries or whatever, or just, like you said, maybe one of the items is just a bear trap, and then you leave that in the field, and when they come, and the next person who moves into the field hits your bear trap, and then they, like, lose their turn or whatever. I don't know. Losing a turn's probably a bad example, but it's the most common occurring effect. Well, again, playtesting, that'll figure out whether or not that actually happens ever.
Yeah. So player versus player interaction, and I'll put 3 question marks to indicate that is serious.
It's a big question.
But, so, Lucky's going to be digging into Monster Girl encyclopedias, because as I said, I don't want I said, I basically want to separate them all into types.
Mhm.
Like dragon types, plant types, beast type, demi types, maybe demon
all
types.
the different categories, yeah.
Yeah.
And demon makes a good one because then you can encounter, because obviously the demon realm is going to be a board, so.
Yeah. I'll probably have something like, I don't know, because there's going to be the demon queen type, which is going to be the ultra rare in the demon lands. Second only to the demon king. Should be great. But I basically want like maybe like in the forest or in the plains, you can run into imps, which are the weakest of demons.
Low level demon types are just fucking around.
Just fucking around. But then you go to like the magma towns, and all of a sudden there's fire demons, and you're just like,
and ifrit.
And, stuff like that. So I basically want to have types, but have them designed for whatever field they're in.
Right.
So like fuck, I had an example, but I lost it. Oh, and like demi types are gonna be like in the plains it'd probably be like goblins, but you go into the forest, it's gonna be elves. You go to the mountains, it'd probably be orcs. But then you think about beast types, and in the plains it'd be rabbit girls, forest it'd be wolf girls, mountains it'd be minotaurs, stuff like that. Because I want overlap, and then when you get like the beast, the beast queen, their effect is going to be procced on the type of demon. So I'm just like, Lucky's putting a lot of thought into this, and it keeps him up at night. It honestly does.
I know that feel. That's when you've got a good idea brewing, and it seems workable. So the only thing to do is work on it. That's when I was writing the first drafts of Mages of War, and I was like writing spell trees and stuff. That's what like literally I would sit there and be like, okay, I got to write down all the spells for Earth. What's some good ideas? And and discard that. And then I look at the math and be like, oh shit, there's only like 7. I need more. Like that is basically what I call the work. And then that's the stuff that you have to actually do. Is actually do the quote unquote work, and get the actual, like there's the pre-production work, there's actually writing the goddamn thing, and then there's the alpha and beta and whatever playtesting and stuff.
Like I said, this is not something that's gonna get done in a couple weeks. It's just not.
No.
But who knows? We'll keep everyone appraised of where we go with this, because it seems like you're getting a little into it too.
Well, as you know, I love game design. Like, these kind of conversations I really like, and I like bouncing off ideas, and I'm trying not to steamroll you too much since it's your idea, but obviously, this is the kind of conversation that makes me have questions and think about stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And you also know, because I've written stuff to this effect, that I, not necessarily parody, but also parody, but I love this kind of self-aware stuff, too. Like, I love to make jokes and references to things. So, you've built a very tropey setting you want to work on, and I'm just like, this is very funny. I could come up with jokes for this.
That makes me sad that your Mecha Musume thing never really got off the ground. I cry.
No, I don't think I feel like the stuff that inspired me just didn't stick hard enough for me to like actually feel like working on it too hard.
Yeah.
Like, I still got my high level notes, and like I feel like maybe I'll just go into it. Also, Axe bold claim. But the material girl thing could like work on, like, that's the thing I think about a lot of projects. Like, I haven't worked on Mages 2020 in a while, but Mages 2020 is not necessarily going to go anywhere. It just depends on when I'm in the mood and have the time to work on it. Like right now, I'm working a lot on background stuff and ideas and concepts for the Fate thing, because that's just a new way for me to express all the new ideas, and it's very popular with people right now. So I'm still talking about the game design a lot with people. But as we like move to different games or do different stuff, I will think of different things and follow different feelings, Okay. Well, we're now at about 2 hours and 20 minutes. Is there anything else you want to talk about with Monster Girl Collection game design and stuff?
No, I just need to come up with a better title for one. I know that's not important.
Monster Girl Collector, MGC, could work. That's got an acronym. It's got a simple thing. I don't know. But, you can also come with more catchy and unique names. We'll see.
That's what I'm thinking. I'm also wondering about the fucking backlash that I might get for this game. That's another thing that's in, because we are in a very, what's the word I want to call it? Pointy finger kind of society nowadays.
Yeah.
Like, one of those things I've been wondering about is like, it's like, am I gonna get like angry threat messages from feminists talking about how I'm treating like girls as disposable objects? Like, I don't know if like that's something I should be worrying about. But
well,
again,
I mean, I don't know if you should be worrying about it, but I mean, you might. It depends on the popularity and the stuff, but it also depends on the context. That's why I said like why maybe we should think about the context. The important thing to think about is like if that is the thing though. If you play a girl from your hand, that is just like. You are just letting her go, like, and then she's gone. She's like, okay, you made quick friends, and you had her do you a solid, and then you're like, let her go, because you're not trying to build a longer lasting relationship, as it were. So yeah, I like, and you could take some hits, but I think if you approach the game with an open enough mind, and then also I gotta be honest, there's enough people who would be like, whoa. Angry internet people are angry about this game. I'll buy 50 copies to spite you. You know.
Honestly, speaking of that, I'm totally. If this does get out the grain, I'm going to just send copies to people who are inspirations to this. So I literally will be sending some copies off to some fucking manga artists or authors in Japan. It's just like, you're the one who made this happen. Thank you. Okay. And probably the artists who commissioned. Like I said, I know a couple artists. I don't know if they want to do Monster Girls, though. Some of them are in slumps at the moment. I don't want to put pressure on them.
The big work on, you know.
Because, again, I'd rather, like, talking about art and stuff, I'd rather, like, commission people I know, and I know their work, and I know their work ethic and whatnot, rather than just be like, all right, let me just, like, put out a fucking, let me just put up a fucking call for artists and see who sticks. I'm just like,
Yeah, you gotta sketch out for people and stuff. I think that's usually what you do. Is like you could do a little open call, but usually it's like, okay, I like your style. You approach them about working together, and you see how much of a pain in the butt it is. You know, whether their schedules are busy or whether they're assholes or whatever. But in general, most artists, if you know what you're doing and aren't an asshole to them, most of them are pretty approachable and workable. It's just you got to find the right style and you got to find an agreeable price point.
Yeah,
and maybe, and I say this very carefully because I know that if you say this wrong, you'll really rustle some artists' jimmies. And maybe occasionally you find some people you know who can like do you a solid and do some like rough sketches as like a favor of like a mock-up of like one thing before you like go whole hog in on recruiting artists.
Yeah, like, I just became friends with an artist super recently, and I'm like, actually, your art would probably be really good for this. I'm like, but I just became friends with you. I don't want to ask this of you.
Yeah, like, definitely not as, like, a freebie thing, but as, like, that's definitely, like, keeping in mind, like, hey, we know each other. We're talking about stuff. Would you be interested in working with me on this project for money?
Like, and it's crazy because, I was telling her about the Monster Boy, and she's like, I fucking love this idea. I'm just all like, oh my god, it makes it so hard not to ask. God damn it.
You work on stuff, and like I said, you always got to be careful. Like, artists are a precious resource. You should be good to them.
Yes.
And do things through the proper channel. You know, don't go begging for freebies and stuff.
I think I'll drop a line inside. It's like, I might need art for it if you're interested. Maybe we can talk commissions. It's like,
well, and also you're gonna have to ask for examples anyway for purposes of like commission and like budgeting. Ultimately,
yeah,
you'll have to like know what your work. There's a not that I've done it, but I know some people who have. There is a lot of math behind figuring out like a Kickstarter or other crowdfunding campaigns. You have to like figure out what your actual cost rates and stuff are, and most of the back end is actually like paying artists, paying publishers and stuff. Because let's be real, cardstock and cardboard's fucking cheap. It's the getting the people who did the thinking behind it to get paid properly is the hard part.
Like, honestly, like I said, as me and you as the big brains behind us, I don't think we're actually going to be like, I'm not going to be asking for like to get paid during it. As long as the product gets out and it's selling well, I'll just be happy with the revenue from the profits. So I'm more concerned about paying the other people who work on it, like, the artist, the
honestly,
printing company.
That's probably the right mindset to go into a project like this, right? Is just like, except that we are part or full-time content creators, so we kind of get nebulously, like, technically, there's a big chunk of this episode, I think it's about an hour, that is just about this. So when we get ad rev for that hour, you're getting paid to think about designing it, basically.
Yeah.
It's not much, but it's kind of how that works.
Yeah, so it's like, so when I do my Kickstarter, it's like, no, it's just, I think like a majority of it is going to be paying artists, paying the printing companies, paying like storage fees.
Yeah, the primary cost will be actually doing, like, the initial production run, like, actually paying people to produce enough to sell in some form, because we probably can't print on demand.
Nope.
So actually, like, getting it listed places, sold places, in inventory, producing an initial print run, basically.
Yeah.
And then, and obviously some of those rewards levels will be actually pre-orders, so you need to make sure you can meet pre-orders.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's paying. Then it's just gonna pay the artists to actually do the art and the stuff, and all the other niggling. Like, okay, well now we've kickstarted 100 or 200 or however many copies in the initial print run. Now we need to also make sure we can pay somebody to fucking hold all these copies and ship them, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then because you want to make sure you have stretch goals will probably be like, and then not right away, but hopefully sometime soon, expansion pack of these features, etc.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, the stretch goals are the like, okay, we've hit our goal, we can do even more because people like those incentives.
Mm-hmm.
But if actually that reminds me of a topic I could bring up if you think you've got everything.
I'm good.
Okay, because that reminds me of something I brought up on Let's Talk FGO actually, which is I have some dumb ideas for various things, and I'm just kind of like trying to work it out with the audience and figure it out, what would work best. So obviously, as people know, I've been playing children's card games a lot lately, just because I always love, and I'm talking about the Yu-Gi-Oh! TCG. I've always liked it. I dug out my old storage box the other day. Still got some cards. Got plenty of them, actually. I don't think I ever really threw any Yu-Gi-Oh! Cards away. So I have some very, very old cards that are very beat up now, just from age, and handling. But, because guess what, guys? I didn't put literally every bit of my pack filler in card sleeves. I was like 10, and I was not a maniac child. Well, okay. Debatable, but still, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But so that got me on the idea of like, I want, because I was like looking at him like, like I wasn't physically buying cards when they added some like new types of cards or do different things, So I wouldn't mind like for collection purposes getting like a couple of new stuff. I wonder what would be the easiest way. Like obviously right now it's a little weird it's still a little weird to just like go down to my local Walmart and pick up a couple of booster packs, right? Like that would be cheap, but that I feel like that could be a little awkward. And I definitely probably would, before I like opened anything or brought them home, have to like dip them in soap water or something. My dad's a little weird about the whole quarantine thing, but he works for the Red Cross, so it makes sense. Like he's real big about the safety part. So I was thinking, the better way might to be like to say, look into like ordering a bunch of packs online, because you can buy little boxes of the booster packs and just do like a video, an opening, like open them up, and then I had a couple high level thoughts about this. Like, so one is like price point. The reason why I pulled up $60 earlier, because almost all of these ideas I've had or will have are about $60-ish. So, because I've got a couple other ones that I'll list off. But that was like, first is like, okay, how much would it actually cost for me to go on Amazon and get some shit? And they're like around $60 for some different things. Okay, solid. It tracks. The next thought I have is like, man, do I have a better camera, better than my phone camera? Probably not. Do people care? Don't know. That's the thing I need feedback from the audience for. But I was thinking about with this physical unboxing thing. I've done a couple of those in the past, and with video games, I deliberately cultivated almost irreverent, slightly goofy style of doing them. Just because I'm like, yeah, I'm on my phone. Yeah, I've got my pocket knife. That's just how it is. Look at you. Oh no, you can see my foot in the shot. It's really hairy because I'm really hairy. Deal with it. That's me, guys. That's how I am. But so I was like, okay, so there's some thoughts there, whether we go back and forth. By the way, we are actually getting pretty close to $500 of Patreon money. Lucky.
I gotta redo that fucking goal.
Yeah, you gotta think about what you're gonna do with that.
Yeah.
I feel like doing vlog type stuff with a camera sounds like a solid idea, but you need to figure out what you're doing exactly, right?
Mm-hmm.
I gotta be honest, I'm pretty sure the audience will at least be initially interested no matter what. But anyway, that's like a goal thing we need to work on. Anyway.
Yeah.
Different subject. So that was like a thing I thought about. So that's something I need audience feedback from, and I don't know if I'll get. But then there's like, the cost, right? Like thinking about it, because like that video could go. Yes, we do. I don't know how much Patreon displays them anymore because I like changed the formatting like 5 times. I don't even know where you go to see them.
Actually, maybe I'll just get maybe I'll make the 500 goal. I'll get the stream deck and like a webcam and something so people can watch me while I stream and shit and can see lucky faces.
Well, again, we're workshopping.
We're
constantly workshopping. Welcome to real life.
Life!
But yeah, so I was thinking like, well, I don't know if this video, like, even if I get people to be like, oh no, like doing it with your phone's okay. People do that all the time or whatever and whatnot. My thought is like, okay, but then what happens if this video goes nowhere and does nothing? I've thrown away $60. So I'm wondering, do I just suck it up and like try and invest? Because, I will physically get something out of it. I'm just hoping for like a return on the investment then, because I'm just doing it for funds, basically, for enjoyment and to make interesting content. So my thought was like, okay, what if I like figure out like a stream goal or something? Like for say I want to buy a box full of Yu-Gi-Oh booster packs, I could like be like, okay, we're collecting funding on this stream. If we hit 60, or I could even be like, if we hit $50, worth of donations, then I know it's worth my time. I'll be reimbursed preemptively for doing this video kind of thing, and I can do it and shoot the video.
Mm-hmm.
I actually need to talk to you because you do some interesting stuff with your streams. Like you've got a little icon and you've got a little overlay you use when you go away. I need to like,
that's
how
OBS.
you do that in OBS to just figure it out. Because like sometimes I'll step away from my computer and be like, that could be cool to do some overlays, or if like I said, I could like do like a heat gauge or whatever for like a donation goal. Figure out some way to display that kind of thing. That could be interesting. And it's not necessarily just about Yu-Gi-Oh cards, though obviously I do feel there's some audience there, and that could be funny. I would probably, for the sake of it, I know it's not necessarily meta, I'd probably try and hook up with the set that the Dragon Maid cards were introduced in, just in case, because that would be funny. But there's some other options. But also, there's another thing that to make it FGO related, which I'm sure we get way more eyeballs on our channel. There are these things called the FGO wafers, which I've described before. They're basically, literally on Amazon, they're all listed as like FGO wafer candy toy.
Mm-hmm.
But they're little random packs that have like a little foil servant card that's kind of like one of their Ascension arts usually, I think. I don't know if it's always the first, but it's the little servant art. It has like stuff on the back. But it's got a little Nilla wafer in there. But you can get randomized packs of them. They're like a little just casual toy you can get. But while that would definitely be a thing that like our audience would go for,
they're expensive. Holy shit.
Yeah, it's because I'm pretty sure they're imported on some level. Either you're literally importing them from Japan when you order them on Amazon, or you are buying them from somebody who imported them from Japan. And also, all of them have. I'm pretty sure some of these are directly from I'm looking at Wafer Reproduction Special Pack 20 Pack 2, which does look like it has some interesting ones. But if you look at buying options, they're all like I think the cheapest is, I don't see the. So they do have free shipping. It's only $43, but it will arrive between July 16th and August 12th.
Thanks, Highbridge. You're 86% positive, so I have faith in you.
But yeah, I'm pretty sure that's literally going to have to like travel from Japan. Same with the next one up that's free shipping. They will deliver it sooner. They're K2Net Japan, who have just launched, but they're like $60 also, which is the $60 price point. I'm like, okay, yes, that would definitely be a thing, right? Like that would be a thing that would do good on our channel. I'm sure, because I've seen FGO creators do it occasionally. But again, that's like shit, dude. That's like I literally have to spend like $50 or $60 and then wait a couple of weeks to get this shit shipped to me, and then I have to eat all those vanilla wafers because I'm not an animal.
This reminds me, I need to look up the fucking FGO Mahjong tiles that
Japan the Mahjong tiles. We should also double check like the FGO Duel, like what those prices are like, because those are actually out in the States. Because, that's another thing that you could do a rando, or not even a rando, just a complete unboxing of it, just like, hey, I've ordered the Duel figurines, we're going to pop them open, Work on that kind of stuff. Then also, like, last time that, what was it, Force of Will was the card game name?
Yes.
Yeah. We got caught onto that existing, and they have a special booster box that's Ghost in the Shell themed, which is also like $60 online, but is also like, my immediate thought was like, that would be fun to like, own that box and like unpack and like look at what happens, But again, that's a whole investment thing. So I'm like, I got to talk with the audience a little bit, have some back and forth about what the plan is there. Because would people be willing to kind of like upfront that cost a little bit, understanding that, what you get out of it, whether it's you like tip $5 or whatever on a stream and we build towards that goal, is like eventually for sure that video will come out or what? Because that's the same thing as basically crowdfunding, is like understanding, you understand that you're not getting something right now, but you're helping like make me feel secure that I can be like, I can afford to like, throw the thing out. Even if this video bombs, I'm not going to like go deep in the hole.
Yeah.
Like, I'd love to do all three, honestly. I'd love to do all of them and maybe more. But then that's like really starting to stack up the money. That's like $180, not counting taxes and shipping and shit. Like, that is a definite investment. My bank accounts are not so deep, that I can just, I'm just going to buy, $200 worth of crap on the hope that it makes a good video. We're not yet in that step. Hopefully, at some point, we can reach a budget where we can be like, yeah, we can throw a few hundred and get experimental, but it's like, I need some of that money to buy ups that Amazon won't ship me. Thanks, Amazon.
Thanks, Amazon.
I want that to, like, I'll talk a little bit about video games I'm interested in later, because we swerved a little from that topic a second ago, but I'll work on that. Nah, I don't think we do the Patreon goal for, like, board game and stuff. That would be, like, that's like a Kickstarter.
And I said Monster Girl Collector is definitely going to be a Kickstarter.
Like, that's something, one, we want everybody to get access to, and also, like, we could do special deals for Patreon, like, getting previews or whatever, and so on, but that would not be necessarily a full thing, but yeah, so that's something, like I said, I want to release onto What's Up World, is, like, let them know about, like, I have ideas to do dumb unboxings, and, you know, open card packs, and you can yell and scream with me about stuff, and see stuff, possibly on my shitty phone camera, probably. I should actually...
Honestly, if we hit 500, we should both just get some sort of web camera situation.
Probably. I should get a new webcam. I have some old webcams that are shitty. Same. Well, here's the thing also about, like, FGO wafers. I have no idea about the currency or whatever. But also, because it, much like with the Yu-Gi-Oh! Boosters, I want to buy a set I actually give a fuck about, right? Like, I'm not going to buy FGO wafers for the chance to get servants I don't care about. That would be dumb. Not even for an unboxing. Like, I have to feel good about myself at the end of the day, too. But that is definitely a, like, figuring stuff out.
Oh, yeah, Ami
sounds
usually
rough.
does.
I'm looking at this. There's Concert U in there, but how... So, one of our patrons is in the live chat, Panda. They're talking about just buying from Ami for about... The conversion is about $20, but I'm just wondering, how well will that... Is that, like, a pain in the butt to do, and whatever?
And it's probably coming from Japan. Probably.
Yeah, I'd have to figure that out. Can you just give me the link to where you're looking at this, Panda, just so I can look at it with my eyes? Because there are some servants in there that I could say yes, and then it's got Fion in there, so that could be hilarious. Omega spooked by Fion in real life. Like, $20 is definitely... I could definitely, for a joke, just drop $20. You know, I'm not so poor that I can't do that, right?
Right.
To, like, be like, oh, I'll throw out $20 and hope we get some looks about stuff, you know? There are definitely Thomas Shark sets. That's the thing. Those are probably more expensive, whether they're reprints or not. But, like, there's definitely some you know, funny stuff to do with there and, like, work on. This item is not found. Trying to give me a link.
Nice.
I mean, since I'm on this site, I can just search for it. The problem is I have no way of knowing without doing research what's newer, other than just, like, I don't know, being cheaper. Like I said, when I'm, like, looking up stuff on Amazon, I'm just looking at what Amazon gives me back soonest. I mean, I can see it there. It's all there. Just see if it loads correctly.
Do you want to sell this Class 4 hyperdrive? Maybe.
What you're doing fucking thinking about next time.
Yeah. I said, not to tangent from what Omega's doing, but Omega's on his own tangent all on his own. I really don't have anything.
Yeah, Omega's looking at eyeballs, so I'm just talking about plans. And obviously, Lucky could do this too. You know, we're talking about, but I don't know if he would. You already have lots of tchotchkes and stuff.
Yeah.
But yes, that would definitely be like a, you know, a thing to think about, like, doing this different stuff and work out. So keep your eye on that. And then the other thing, Lucky, is I got a couple video games things to talk about.
Oh, I'm listening.
So some stuff has come out recently that I've been looking at. There's actually a remaster for Saints Row the Third, which came out, which was, I think, the first Saints Row I actually played.
Saints Row is a franchise I cry all the time, kind of went defunct.
Yeah, but the publishers kind of went out and they kind of, like, 4 was their big hurrah, and it was still pretty good, and then they did a big DLC about it, but they're remastering it, so somebody has the property. I'm not necessarily interested in buying that one right away, though, because even though it's a remaster, they're still charging $40, and I'm like, okay, I like this game. I'm pretty sure I bought it cheaper for that on the PS3 after it had come out for a while, so I might want to wait for a sale. Like, I get that it's remastered, but my nostalgia is only worth so much extra money.
Sure.
So that's a thought, you know, that I had. Another big one that came out that people are doing that's popular is Minecraft Dungeons actually came out. It's a dungeon crawler with Minecraft looks and stuff. I don't know much about it. That one's only, like, I think the default is like $10, and then the Hero Edition, which I don't know what is in it, is like $20. That is definitely when I'm less concerned about my power situation. That is definitely something I'd be looking into getting, and might even stream if it comes out, because that seems like a good dungeon crawling games. I think are good for streaming because, you know, you can, depending on what you're doing, you can autopilot a little bit. We haven't actually talked about gacha yet either, Robin. We might. I don't know how long this is. We're coming up on 3 hours though. We'll see in a second. So Minecraft Dungeons is something that's been on my radar. I'll look into it. I feel I feel a hankering maybe to play something on my Switch, because especially with the power outage, I can literally just pop that out. I have a battery pack and everything, but I'm not sure what. Shocker of shockers, a lot of Switch games are out of stock right now.
Honestly, like, I'm surprised you haven't zeroed in on Xenoblade Chronicles: The Definitive Edition. I literally just
I know literally, like, I've never known anything about that franchise and or anything, so it's like, nah. Like, why would I?
I played it back on the 3DS, but I didn't get too far because it was kind of rough for me. But like I said, I've been having a JRPG it for a long time, and I've been keeping my eye on
if I would, I'd probably pick up Octopath, but Octopath is sold out right now. That's what I'm saying. There's a lot of shit that's not available. I could finally bite the bullet and buy Super Mario Odyssey, despite the fact that it's never been less than like $58. Thanks, Nintendo.
Yeah, so because I've always had my eye on Xenoblade Chronicles 2, which is usually out of stock. Mm-hmm. But I'm like, now they have the definitive. It's like, I know they're not like directly connected. But I'm like, no, I want to play the first one. Then I'll go to the second one. Perfect, because I see a lot of Xenoblade Chronicles art, especially of the sword girls.
Yes,
I'm just like, correct. And I know I can get fucking Cosmos, and I'm like, I'm there. Excuse me, where is my fucking Xenosaga remake?
Yeah, I don't know. Our JRPGs can be very hit or miss with me, like depending on what kind of their flavor is. So I don't know. I've just never followed that series, and I don't even know if they're in stock or not. But also, I think we're getting close to the Pokemon DLC dropping, the first part, which I played the shit out of that one, the sword. So when that actually pops, I'll definitely probably actually look into buying that and getting into it, doing the new stuff. Because I still have some Pokemon I still haven't caught and stuff too. You know, late June is a little while away, now obviously though. But yeah, so I'm trying to think about maybe getting stuff for my Switch, but also I have to be like, no, dude, you still have other games you want to play, both on your PC and on your PS4 already. So I got to like weigh myself and decide what I'm gonna do, like with the situation. Like, if this fucking ups thing keeps getting fucked up, I probably will just bite the bullet and be like, I'll buy a Switch game that I know I can safely play because I can undock it and not have to worry about power loss and stuff. No, dude, I'm always watching out for hurricanes. But that's doing some stuff on my list. I can't finish Persona though, Robin. You weren't there when I talked about Angry Zeus. It's not physically possible right now. My fucking PS4 could explode. I don't want it to do that. That would be a very, very expensive fix. It's much cheaper if Amazon would just ship me my goddamn ups, but they haven't yet.
Oh, speaking of,
what's up?
I think it's like next Thursday, we're actually getting a state of play where there might be they're going to be revealing details on the PS5 game launch lineup.
Yes, I don't actually care about that part. I really just want to know what the fuck their price point and their backwards compatibility is. Then I'll make my decisions whether I give a fuck about the games. Like, I gotta be honest, even if they have the best launch games in the world, if the thing costs like $600, I'm gonna be like, I'm gonna wait a little bit. Gonna be real. Don't know. But I am interested in more PS5 because that is still, I believe, on track for later this year.
Yes, they have actually come out and said that the PS5 release schedule is still on track.
Yeah, there will probably still be some inventory shortages. But that's why, like I said, information is still good because we want to know. But all right, that's those things. We can talk about Gacha. Many people, and we're sorry to make you wait until the end of the show. Many people that want to know what we think about Code of Brawl in Arknights. I
haven't got that far, and I think I'm at 5 maps in.
I am also about 5 maps. I did not do the map, but I'm on the map where you can recruit Bison.
Yeah, same.
Because I'll say some stuff. While I very much appreciate Arknight's writing and its story, and especially the localizers had some fun with this one. Hey, forget about it. These guys. Fuck, there's a lot of text in this event. Oh my god. Like, before and after maps. I kind of miss the way, Obsidian Festival was, where, like, all the big exposition would be in standalone cutscene maps. So you would know, oh, this part's just a long story bit. And some of the starts before the maps in Obsidian Festival were very short. Not so in Code of Brawl. You will read a lot at the beginning and ending. Where? I'm like fucking 5 maps in, Robin. Where are they gonna just give me cutscenes? But yeah, so it's very text heavy, which is a little frustrating to casually play through. Yeah, he's Biggie. He's the same guy.
Mm-hmm.
The Emperor is hilarious. Yes, he's just a fucking penguin.
He's great.
But yeah, so there's a lot of fun character stuff. I'm just like, man, it's really hard for me to casually play this along with all the other million things I'm doing because I have a pretty quick read speed, but I have to sit and read and then be like, oh shit, now the actual map starts. Shit, I have to pay attention, you know. Not that you have to pay attention too hard so far, but people are saying the later maps are, like, actually really hard. Axe, how are you still in existence? Haven't done Lost Belt 1? It's been out for months. Just do it. Stop talking about it and do it. Do it now.
Do it now.
Those other games don't matter though. That's right. But yeah, so I'm not super far in it. Also, I gotta be real. This banner really bamboozled me really hard. Waifu and Mostima are definitely cool. Don't have any fucking ones of those, and I've rolled like 3 times.
Yeah, like he's in the same boat.
My Mostima was strangely miscolored. She was red and was talking about apple pie. Yeah, that comic basically. By the way, I am literally at P3 at Exy. I think the only 6-star I have at multiple potentials, and just she keeps coming. I'm like, girl, you're great. For the love of God, can I get some new units down here I want that are high rarity? Don't you yell at me. I don't want them either. Take her. Take your own apple pie. I want the one that does time space stuff. Fuck, I would have sold for Waifu. She's cute. I didn't get any new 5 stars. I think my Lapland got to like P2 or P3. My Lapland is still not E2 yet, by the way. I forgot how much of a fucking rigmarole this is. And it is a rigmarole. Like, Arknights has a real problem with redundancy and just confusion in its materials and other junk. Like, I think this was a conversation we had before a game, but I was talking to Axe about, like, farming E2 materials, and he was like, and he was trying to ask me what it was, and I'm like, I don't fucking know which one it is. It's one of the ones with the blue triangles. Because there's, like, 50 blue triangles, and they're all the same, just they're slightly bigger, you know? And then there's the same with, like, I got bamboozled by the fucking chips thing. Because I don't need the tier 2 chips, I need the tier 2 chips that are just that, but they have the gold outline around them, and you have to build them in the factory. I'm like, wait, what? I didn't even realize that was a thing. Also, because you refuse to give context, Tyranno, nobody knows what the fuck that means, even though you posted it in Hella Not Safe for Work for no reason. Anyway, but yeah, so I'm just like, goddamn, dude, it's like, why is there so much redundancy? And it, like, they even redid the UI. I actually had a small problem where I had to actually do the old reinstall, or reinstall from scratch. Because, they wanted you to basically literally download the entire game size again. And my phone was like, no, dude, that won't work. And I'm like, how fucking big is this update? Because Arknights is still on my phone, and I actually prefer it that way for multitasking purposes. But yeah, they reworked a lot of the UI. There's a lot of smooth bits now and new icons, but I think they've dug the hole they're gonna live in terms of mats, and we're just there now. So I'm still working on that casually while also doing other stuff and trying to recover from the fact that I had like 15, 16... Well, okay, I had enough for 2... So I had over 1,200. I think I had like 13,000, sorry, red, Originium. And then I went down to 0, trying really hard for Mostima and getting fuck all from it.
Lucky has a system when how he does his headhunting. I do them individually because, as you know, on the first banners, you're guaranteed a 5-star or higher in your first 10 rolls. And so I'm like, so Lucky's big brain thought is instead of, just going all 10, I'll just go one at a time until I get the big 5/6, and I'll just see from there. When I did the fucking, when I did the Mostima banner,
some banners, but other times I'm just like,
banner, shit. I did that. My first one, I got the orange fire. Because, 5-star is just orange light, 6-star is orange fire. It was my second fucking silver ash, and I'm just like...
Rip.
It's one of those things like, I can't be mad.
You could be a little mad.
But I'm a little mad. Yeah.
He's not on rate up. What is the rate up rate for the on rate 6-star? It's pretty good, isn't it?
Yeah. And so, I was like, alright. I only spent it once.
It's a 50-50 shot.
I'm going in. Like, I'm going fucking in. And I didn't get anything special. I think I got another Estina, which is a 5-star. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, I shouldn't complain too much because I did get some units that were higher rarity. Like I got a couple of 5s. I got a couple of I got a new 6-star and I got some 4s. I got the new, is her name May or whatever? The new sniper who has a little gun. I got like a couple copies of her. The new 4-star. I did not get any new 5-stars or the new 6-star, obviously. So I'm a little rustled, but I'm slowly building back up my Originium. I bought my monthly pack today because it ran out. I do continue to fund Arknights. I actually like them a lot, and I don't mind buying the monthly pack. It's literally like $5 every month.
And today they came out with their display operator right up. They had Exusai, Hoshiguma, Lapland, Project Red, and Neural. I got me a Neural. Unfortunately, it was the very last one, and I was just like, that's the thing that like annoys me. It's like you get it in like 10 rolls. Sometimes it's literally the 10th roll. Most of the time, it's literally the 10th roll. I'm like, you motherfuckers.
Yeah, sometimes they're sassy.
Yeah,
I'm having a slight sass-bass problem with the fucking gold certs. I think I talked about this where it's like I saved. I have enough to double down on all that stuff, but like they stopped giving me new units in there. Like I tried to bust my ass to get Siege, and then she went away, and then it's just like, oh no, it's like literally only the like 3 6 stars you own, because it was like they did like it's Hoshi right now, I think. It was Ifrit before, who I did actually get from something else. When did I get Ifrit? I don't remember what. Did I get like top operator? I might have got a top operator in Ifrit. I don't know. I don't know what that all means, Panda. You guys, you honestly, people, especially people in our community, know too much stuff about Arknights. I have no idea what they know. They're talking about the future like 50 fucking ways. I don't know. When something happens, I'll ask them and they'll tell me. And occasionally they preview new units. Like there's a new Salamander operator, Asbestos, that just popped in CN, and I'm like, she's the coolest.
Lucky's waiting for Sky to be put in the certificate shop. That's what I'm waiting for.
About 2 weeks. Okay, well that's good at least. Axe, you kind of turned that around, so you meant it as a positive, but the first half of your sentence is definitely a little spicy. My brain has a lot of capacity, honestly. It's just like you said, I don't go out of my way to hunt down this information anyway, but I just casually get stuff. But man, some people, I think I said this when Arknights first came out, some people in our community went whole hog, and they have not stopped. But I do that's good to know. I would have figured that out anyway when it happened, but at least I'm thankful you mentioned that with the thing coming up in 2 weeks for Siege. That's good. I'll pick her up then, because I've got 180 still. I got a fucking Project Red off a Crown Control tag, so my Project Red is P2, so I'm like, I want to spend gold certs on this even? Honestly, I kind of agree, Robin. Like, my casual bumbling knowledge, I still have lots of fun and I enjoy stuff when it comes out. But also there's a lot of like, man, I don't know what's going on, like a few weeks in advance. But I'm okay with that most of the time, because it lets me think about other things, basically, because I'm not constantly like doing my future casting. Which technically for FGO we get paid to do. And people really, really watch those videos. But yeah, let's talk about Arknight stuff. The event's not so bad, though. I like it a lot. It's funny. And somebody mentioned that, like, I kind of agree. Man, Arknights really likes to flex its art assets. Like, I don't know if these mob guys are ever going to be recruitable, but they have actual designs and sprites and stuff. And there's this, like, frickin' there's this rat guy who's, like, all of a sudden in there, and then there's this guy who runs, like, a food stand. I'm like, who are all these characters? You guys are really real bold just adding all those characters in. It's fun. Some of them, though, I do hope actually get recruitable. Like, I'd love fucking Sniper Emperor 6 stars with his fucking rubber band gun. What did he call it? Did he call it his ghetto blaster? I don't remember. The little homie. No, that's what it was. He was like, actually, hand me my little homie. Fucking pops their tire
with a rubber band.
Oh, I love Penguin Logistics so much. They made, despite the fact that her name is Croissant, they made her super Texan. Yeah. It's great. And I actually have her. I think the only penguin I don't have, other than Mostima now, Mouse, is Texas, which is funny.
I don't have Sora.
I have a Sora. It's actually weird. I think I need to promote her so she can get a second skill, because her default base skill is Dormitory, because she sings. But I want to put her on a team in Trading Post with my rest of my logistics, because one of my teams for my big Trading Post is Silver Ash Courier and
Matterhorn?
Matterhorn, yeah.
Yeah, I do that too.
The boys. I'll put them together. I'm like, yeah, hang out. Oh, I don't think we mentioned that they also did the new, or I think we did mention the new ones, but I've bought a couple. I bought Breeze. I've bought my first Breeze. She's an AoE medic, which I love. I'll have to level her. Not that, man, Perfumier's real good. I don't know. Like, I've actually been thinking about this. Like, I just got Senior Op today, and I picked Medic because that was a 1 in 3 chance to not get or a 2 in 3 chance to not get a repeat. I did get a repeat. My silence is now like P3, so I'm like, man, I really got to figure out what you do and use you, because I've got you at like P3 and you're big. You're a big deal, so like I need to figure that one out. But like honestly, most of my medic work gets done pretty good by Mur and Perfumer. And I have a very high level Gavial as my 2. But I have bought a Breeze. I've bought all my copies of Durnar already out of the shop. You know, I don't have any Ethan yet, but I'm sure I'll get him. It's just working out my red certs. How are you on the new free to play operators, Lucky? You pick any up?
I got all my Durnar, and I picked up just one copy of the red cert ones.
Okay,
that's that because I don't farm the red tickets.
I don't know who does. You get him daily and weekly anyway, and his prizes.
Yeah,
like I don't farm that either, and I still had enough lying around when they first procced to buy a copy of Breeze. So, who's like 600, so it's not a big deal. I guess if you're urgently wanting extra copies, it can be a big deal. I guess if you need popsicles, I don't super need popsicles right now. But yeah, so we'll continue working on it. I think the other big thing to talk about might be Azure Lane, because man, boy, howdy, did they pop a lot of skins.
Oh my god.
Which I bought a lot of. Because I think I bought a lucky bag and I didn't do anything with the gems right away, or they gave us a lot. Because I had like 2K sitting around, and I just went apeshit. Who did I get? Definitely got Massachusetts. I think it was Enterprise, Mass, and Latorio.
Good books. What costumes did you get in your lucky bag?
I did not buy the new lucky bag yet. I tried to, and then they said busy, and I'm like, it's open for 2 more weeks. I'll try again later. So I will probably buy the lucky bag and pick it, and we'll see what happens. But I haven't yet, because I really want those gems to get St. Louis with the live 2D. Maybe get some Biloxi in there. Listen, they went. I'm kind of surprised we got them all right away, but they went full powerhouse with these new dress party skins.
What's killing me right now is they're coming out with new oath skins.
Oh yeah, they're doing a new batch of oaths. That's gonna be spicy.
I am ready for Frederick the Great.
Yeah.
I have locked that in.
They revealed one for Minneapolis, which looks cute.
San Diego Unicorn.
Oh, yeah, Sandy got one. Was also Unicorn? Yeah. Panda's probably typing a list. Panda knows things.
I'm waiting for my Amagi oath. Give.
Yeah, give me some more. But the one on Frederick is a really interesting one. Also, it's very interesting they've done some, because she's actually wearing a black wedding dress, which fits her aesthetics very well.
Very much so.
All right, Panda says that's it. That's a good one. I wonder if I have a ring lying around. If not, I may need to buy one with my lucky bag money and sit on it. Unfortunately for me, that sitting on it would be Minneapolis, because I am in super hell with like I don't know when I'm gonna find the time to play more Azure Lane to just grind out that fucking priority stuff. Because nobody's ever told me what the fuck they did to actually get through 2 million EXP. Because I play events. I do event maps, when they're new. Like, I'm not really working on the rerun, but I still am only like, maybe not even 50% of the way through that on Monarch. And I'm just like, how did anybody ever do this fast?
I don't know how anyone did this fast, but Lucky just completed Frederick the Great recently.
Well, so the second batch do something slightly different, don't they?
I think so. I think the first batch you have to use specific ship types and of a faction, and then the PR2 they are much more broad.
That would be good. I need to like, that's the thing I need to just settle up and be like, okay, I'm going to take some fucking time out of my day. I'm going to grind out the rest of Monarch, and then I'm going to work on some of these newer ships just to figure it out. Because Frederick is great.
Like, because I think I'm like, because I started Gascon. Gascon.
I think it's just
French.
Gascon.
And I'm like already halfway through like the first tier of the XP collection. And like everything else is done, so I'm actually making some good progress on her. Oh yeah, that's right. Lucky, I forgot. Man, Lucky did get a Tartu, and Lucky was able to get a Le Malin. So my Vitya Dominion fleet is still strong.
Nice. I got some doubles and then I stopped rolling.
And this is important because, like I said, I'm concerned that they're gonna just drop the new fucking Iris event on us just randomly.
Possibly, that could be pretty spicy. Also, they're changing the construction pool. They're adding some more small ships to permanent, I believe.
Oh, we get a week break with Sandy Retro and then New French. Yeah, so I'm like,
Spicy. Yes. So we are getting Little Bells being added to the construction pool permanently. La Temeraire is being added permanently. Who did I actually manage to get? I think I did. And Z18, who are all small.
Smalls.
Oh, okay. So it was International Children's Day. Is that where they're doing Lil Lustrious?
Yes.
Cute. We've got Helena's getting a refit. Man, I'm actually looking at Minneapolis's dress design now, and it is a thing. It is a thing she is doing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Some great expressions, though.
Collect more of that. Lucky's in Azure Lane now.
Oh, it already happened. I was briefly excited. They were talking about an Amagi plushie giveaway, and they're like, "Congratulations to the other one." They're like, "Fuck."
Yeah.
But I think out of the new party ones, St. Louis's skin is the spiciest.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
One, it's live 2D, but also, holy shit! Like, how do you, Azure Lane? How mathematically do you show that much skin? How did you do it?
There's some math here that has probably never seen the light of day. The mathematical equation of lewd.
They're very good at it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's been a lot of people commenting on the thing we always talk about, Azure Lane's big hoarding energy. Because it is. It's very big. And they're working on it. All right. We're at over 3 hours now. Do we have any other gotcha stuff we want to talk about?
Not really. I'll continue to mention that Lucky sucks at keeping up with Girls Frontline, though.
Who doesn't?
Other than that, no. Nah, I got nothing.
Okay. Alrighty, well, then let's probably go ahead and wrap up. I think we talked about everything we want to talk about. Wait, no, there was one more thing I should mention. We're a little late to get into a full deep dive, but I should tell people I have finished Stardust Crusaders. I'm all the way through the second season of JoJo. I need to track down Where a Good Place, because that's Amazon's only got the first 2 seasons, which is the first 3 parts. I'll have to track down a good place to watch Diamond is Unbreakable. But, yeah, I'm through it. I actually kind of surprised myself. The second season's only 48 episodes, so it builds to that conclusion very fast. Like, it's like Dio gets like a 3-parter, and then there's the conclusion, and the final battle is like the actual final confrontation of that bit is only like the first half of that episode, even. So I was actually like, oh wow, that spiced by pretty fast.
Spicy.
Yeah, okay. Here's a problem. Crunchyroll kind of sucks butts a little bit. If you're free, anyway. Yes, of course I have Chromax. What am I at? Caveman?
Unga bunga.
Well, it's true. I make jokes about Caveman a lot. I'm more concerned about the 50, 30-second ads every 5 minutes, which is how apparently Crunchyroll treats its free users. I don't know. It's been a while since I looked. Does it, though? Have you actually tried recently? They're really spicy about that, making sure your ad block doesn't work.
Well, the free pass
it's
only
not.
lasts for
Like, don't bother with free pass and stuff. It's not a big deal. I don't know when I'll even get to it. But yeah, I'll look into it. So, but yeah, it was good. Liked it a lot. I don't know. The music in both in all parts in both seasons is pretty catchy. The fun stuff they do with the opening is really good, because the final opening of Stardust Crusaders is they get all 3 of the previous artists together. And yes, Loth, if you're listening, I was actually watching their last couple bits when they did something really fun. Where, Lucky, do you remember that they did this? Because you've watched it. Because the opening, the 4th opening, or I guess it's the 4th overall, but the final opening of season 2 is End of the World.
Yeah.
And then in the last couple episodes, once Dio's world was actually revealed, when they start to sing the line "The World," Dio actually interrupts the fucking opening to freeze time, and they do like a variant, which is pretty cool.
They always do the thing where they intensify the sound effects too.
Yes, they did that was, I think, at least for the very final one, they actually really played up the SFX and stuff. It's fun.
Yeah.
They know what they're doing. Sound design is very, very consistent a lot. Like every time he does Zawardos, and they do the and then when time comes back, it picks up again. Very interesting and consistent stuff. I have some thoughts and feelings about kind of like how the transition from I don't even know, I guess kind of like a pulp story, right? Because that's kind of how the first 2 parts are, like pulp vampire stuff almost. Still very anime-esque, but also very pulpy. To like basically a super setting, because that's really how stands work. If you have a stand, you have N power that does things, some of which are very good and some of which are weird.
Well, I said, like, parts 1 and 2, like, definitely have, like, that. And part 3 is very still adventure-y.
Yeah, it has the adventure arc, but the nature of the setting is almost more like, nah, dude, dog, it's all about stands.
And now whenever you finally get to part 4, it's just like, nah, we're just all stands. We're literally going to take it stay in this little hometown area, and it's going to be almost slice of life.
Well, so speaking of that Tyranno King, it's a little weird thing that I think it's because of the anime pacing, because in order to get all their lines and iconic shots out, they have to linger stuff. The idea, because you see him do it a couple times, is that basically Star Platinum is pushing or pulling him when he quote-unquote flies, like Dio is doing. It's just that in the way the animation is, he lingers in the air a couple of times, which makes it seem like he's literally flying. But I don't think that's actually what we're going for it. Or maybe he can fucking fly. Who knows? But yeah, it's an interesting ride. I like it a lot. The sound design is great with like OST and the sound effects and stuff. Has some really fun and iconic moments. Yeah. Loth posted the GIF version. They kept with some themes. Hey, guess what? Some of the characters very obviously they went out pretty fast for the shock value. I don't know, JoJo's a million years old. I don't know if I'm spoiling anything, but some people haven't watched it. I don't know if I want to get into it, especially with like the minimal amount of time to have to go over it. Maybe I'll talk about it more next time. I could also believe that, like Jotaro's is like enough mad that he can just levitate on his rage alone. As he even says when he beats Dio, you made one mistake, one simple mistake. You pissed me off. and honestly, I do feel like the finale with Dio almost feels like a little bit of an anticlimax, like it happens very suddenly. But at the same time, it is also after, like, we see how we're able to get that advantage, too. And it kind of, there's some parallels and stuff. I do feel kind of bad. Yeah, the classic, roll the roller down. Those last couple episodes are really, they flow together really well, and a lot of people get their moments. Like, even Polnareff gets a couple of good double moments. I'm trying to remember, was that actually that fast? I think it was. Though it's a little, I feel a little weird about what Dio does when he goes Super Dio at the end. The lipstick is not the worst. I don't like what he did.
I'm like, honestly, I like his pre-transformation.
Yes, the longer, shaggier hair is cooler, and also he didn't lose the jacket yet. Dio's a fun character. He has a lot of entertaining stuff in there. Well, Jotaro did, yeah, and man, he loves to shout that out. Yeah, Joseph fucking around and being like, ho ho ho, now I am Dio. And Jotaro's about to go like, oh shit, I'm gonna punch you out. And he's like, no, calm down, kid. It's really me.
Alright, but, honestly, I think we should probably wrap it up at here.
Yeah, it's time to wrap up. I just wanted to let everybody know, because I did actually do that, and I'm looking into more. I have finished the Stardust Crusaders, I know the memes, and also, yeah, the music was really good. Okay, we're gonna wrap up the show here then. So, thanks everybody for tuning in. Axe, are you rolling all these Firewatches on a rate-up that has Firewatch? Because if you are, I don't know what you're expecting. If not, you're getting a lot of Firewatches for no reason, but that sometimes happens. So hey, if you like this episode, be sure to give it a like if you're watching it on YouTube. If you have any comments, leave them in the comment section down below. You can also hit up us on our Discord. I think that made grammatical sense. That link is in the description and on our channel page as always. If you're new here and haven't already, please subscribe to our channel. Especially if you want to make sure to get those future unboxing videos if they happen. Excuse me. And of course, make sure to hit that bell for notifications so you can always know when we post a new video or when we stream. We've actually gone up a little bit. It used to be 10%, now it's almost about 20%. So people are actually following our advice. Yeah, if you really want to make sure you get those videos, be sure to make sure your notifications are on and you've got it tuned so you actually receive notifications from YouTube, so it'll actually pop when you're not looking right at it. Mm-hmm. It's an important detail. And of course, like I said at the front of the show, consider supporting us on Patreon. You can get access to episodes early, lots of other goodies, really helps us out, get access to new stuff, push us forward in the world. And yeah, it's cool. All right. Time to go now.
Lucky out. Design bomb.